It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. It's the weekend, baby. Man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about. And I'm fired up about today and this weekend. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about. Listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, well, then I guess you found us on YouTube. Now, if you want to tweet the show, you can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings, or you can tweet us at SportsZone Shy. That's CHI SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you do it just for the gram because you're an IGer and you want to follow her on Instagram, then follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Now, I know my guy's working. I just want to give him a shout out. He'll come on when he's doing some stuff. So he got a little stuck with some, technicalities ago, but I just want to make sure I introduce our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife. He's the man behind the curtain, the guy who makes it go. Ivan Vargas. He'll come on in a moment when he's finished up. He's working, man. He's working behind the scenes, making sure this show runs good. But listen, guys, we got a great show for you, but we need you to get interactive with us today. So, know what I need you to do? If you're watching this on Facebook Live or YouTube or the app, and remember, download the app. Okay, download the app. The app, we are an app-centric platform, and I'll tell you what, the app is the best way to get a hold of us. You can watch us live, and if you watch this on the app or Facebook, just leave a question or comment right there on the post, and Ivan will post it up. He'll put it right on the screen, as long as it's not stupid, and we'll discuss it. I want you to get interactive with the show. I want you to be part of the show. I want you to get interactive. I want your questions. I want to answer your questions, and we have tons of questions. You see, I'm decked out, baby. I'm decked out, ready to roll in my Bears gear. Looking forward to this weekend. But so it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a really, really fun show to end the week. And I'm looking forward to it. But you know what? Let me start off, because you know how we do. You know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to You. And these are the hot topics of the night before. It's just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. And for that, I want to bring in our man. All right, he comes on every show we have. He works for the Chicago Crusader, because our Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader. He is our sports editor. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the one himself, the only, the one you can find on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him in. Joseph Phillips. What's up, Papa?
Good morning, Papa. God bless.
Look at you, the sweater. You pimping it. You got that sweater game going. I noticed it the other day. The blue and red one. You got this one going. I see you, Papa. I see you.
Yeah, it's fall, man. Fall is coming. Had to bust out the cardigan, And man, I just love the sweaters, man. Okay. I would give a reference to Cosby, but this is like Little Cosby 2.0, I say.
Okay.
Cosby era.
Oh man, how you doing, man? You fired up for this weekend or what? Are
Yeah.
you ready for some football?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My 3 stories this week would be 1 on the White Sox Ace Academy, 2 Cubs Sox recap for the weekend, and then 3, which is my main story, which is Bears versus Lions. So Sunday, September 13th, NFL kickoff for the Bears, man. Can't wait. God
Man,
bless.
whoo, Charlie, I'm telling you, I'm fired up. I haven't even decided where I'm going to watch the game yet. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. So I got a couple of different options. A couple of my buddies own bars, so I'm going to. Those 2 are in play. Or those 3 are in play. A couple of friends. One of my boy wants me to go up to his house, but man, listen, I'm out in Orland Park. Okay, my man lives in Gurnee.
You gonna stick to the house, huh?
Superback ain't traveling up to Gurnee.
You might as well go to Great America while you're out there.
He lives right down the street.
I know.
Right down the street. I might as well go to Milwaukee. Shoot.
You might as well wait to the Bears Packers game to ride out there. You'd be closer to that.
Yeah, so I was a little frustrated. We were supposed to meet in the city, and then plans got changed, and I'm not even going to go into it. Plans got changed, and yeah, so I'm not. So that's the next, but yeah, I'm not going to not the Gurnee, man.
Yeah.
No, because I got some other stuff after the game I gotta attend to. No,
Right. That'll take up your whole day. They'll take up your whole day.
That's a flight, bro. You can check flights and tickets. It's probably better to check flights going up to Gurnee.
yeah, that's sir. Like when you go out there, you're looking to spend the night. You know,
Right.
maybe come back Sunday, or you said you go on a Saturday, maybe come back Sunday night, something like that, or you go out there to plan like a family trip most of the time. So when you drive back, you got to make sure that you rested enough to drive back. So
when I've gotten and I've done that. I spent the night at his house when I've gone up there, but I know I'm staying over, so it's cool. Like Sunday, I got to get back for CrossFit on Monday, and there's no way I'm driving at 3:30 in the morning, leaving this house at 3:30 because that's all the way on way damn near the Wisconsin border, all the way to come south for my CrossFit. No, I can't do that. So that one got nixed, but it's all right. We'll meet up another time. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be fun this Sunday. I'll tell you. Well, let's get right to it, man. The first top of the morning topics. The Chiefs, and we're talking NFL action, baby. The Chiefs, the Texans at it last night on Thursday Night Football, and the Chiefs picked up right where they left off. Dude, they're scary, bro.
Yeah,
they're scary. The Chiefs beat the Texans 34-20 yesterday in the opening game of the season yesterday on Thursday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 tutties. Only 3. Man. But their running back, Edwards-Helaire, wow. Rookie out of LSU. He decided you talk about his coming out party, 138 yards and a tutty. Let me tell you something. That's a hell of a way to start. That's a hell of a way to start your NFL career on Thursday night, busting the team for $138 and a tutty.
Hey, what a perfect transition for Mr. Pereira, coming from being a national champion to playing for the Super Bowl champion. So what a way to make your debut, and then playing with one of the greatest quarterbacks, maybe go down one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history after it's all said and done, and Patrick Mahomes. And last night shows the difference between why they paid Mahomes a 10-year, almost $500 million contract, and Deshaun Watson was there a 4-year, $160 million deal. So, it's just a different pedigree, and it's good to have great coaches, a good system where you could just come in and plug in guys and you see the results, 34-20.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the best parts of the whole game was when the Texans had the ball and Deshaun Watson gets flushed from the pocket. He scrambles, runs out of bounds. He sees his fellow rich quarterback compadre sitting on the sidelines. So he goes and he sits right next to him on the bench. I just thought that was classic. You talk about really, really, just giving a moment. I thought that was a pretty cool deal.
They both got paid, man. So they like, hey, who treating who? I was like, hey. He's like, today we're gonna do some KC masterpiece. Like we're gonna have to get some barbecue after the game. All on you, man.
Hey, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm saying, hey, bro, you got 503. I only got 160. So
that's
you,
right.
you.
That's right. It's all on you, baby. We gonna get finger licking barbecue in Kansas City.
Oh
Vine Street.
One of the things I want to talk about, man, it really, really kind of annoyed me yesterday. At the beginning of the game, there was a moment of silence, and they talked about social justice before the game, and there are fans booing. There are fans booing, and this is what frustrates me. You talk about all lives matter. Okay, that's just a quick retort to we don't got to hear what you got to say. All lives matter. But then they're saying, okay, let's worry about social justice. Are you not? Kirk Herbstreit said it best last Saturday. He says, how can you listen to these stories and not be sad and not want to help? The stories of, he played at Ohio State. And so obviously, you're in a room and that's what sports was always the great equalizer. You put your race, creed, religion, socioeconomic status, put all that aside for a winning goal. And, to have fans boo because you're taking a stand for social justice, that first of all showed me exactly the majority of the people that were in the stands and their feelings toward equality, toward Black people. Because how can you boo social justice, social equality? How do you just boo that? You just, you know what I mean? I think that it just goes to show you that some places are still archaic, still narrow-minded, still ignorant. And that was one scene that just really, really got my goat, man. I just couldn't believe that they were actually booing the moment of silence and for social justice. It's like it was something that just really, really took me aback. Mm-hmm. And there are only 16,000 people in the stand, so you know what I mean. It's not like it was a capacity because due to social distancing, you're only allowed a certain number of people, a certain percentage in, and even you still heard it. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, it just shows you, man, this is America. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, as I always say. And plus, when it comes to social justice, that's how I tell people. There are always two types of people. You got those that are trying to push. You see what I mean? They'll say it's about Black lives, but it's really not about Black lives. It's about a communist and Marxist agenda. So most of them are probably booing for that reason. And then two, when it comes to the racial divide, a lot of times people feel that a lot of these acts have divided the country more than it brought it together. So you got a lot of misplaces on what racism is. And a lot of times, people feel like they haven't been given a fair shot to defend themselves. And I'm not trying to say that there weren't any racist fans in Kansas City. What I'm saying is that it's just been a poor representation of these political agendas that are trying to equate themselves to like the civil rights movement or integrate themselves within the Black community without properly attributing to what it means to help a Black life versus pushing a political agenda.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get that off my chest and let everyone know. I just wasn't happy with it, and I do agree with you that people are they're hiding behind a Black Lives Matter slogan and for their own agenda to cause havoc and destruction and to riot and to destroy property, and that's just and that really gives Black Lives Matter a bad name. I mean, and it's frustrating. It really, really is. But I don't want to get too deep into that. But yeah, well, I was just wanted to make note. I was annoyed with that yesterday. But I'll tell you what, man, it was so good to see football. it was so good to see football yesterday. I am excited for this upcoming week. Patrick Mahomes, not a phenomenal game, 211 yards, but hell, when you got a guy running the ball for 138 yards, you don't got to throw the ball that much. But the Chiefs look strong, man. The Chiefs look strong. Was it just me, or let me know your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? I think Deshaun Watson is good, but he looked like he wasn't ready. The offense, his first pass to a Notre Dame guy, Will Fuller, dropped. A couple of passes that he threw were off target or just slightly off target or dropped or something. That offense just did not seem in sync yesterday, and made Deshaun Watson look rather pedestrian in my eyes.
Yeah, he made him look like an average quarterback. But like I said, without those 4 preseason games,
Bingo.
I guess a lot of guys haven't got used to the speed of the game yet. And I guess their timing is probably a little bit off, I would have to say. But at the same time, Deshaun has gotten paid, so people ain't trying to hear that, like, we paid you, I'll play, okay? So either way it go, I thought it was pretty much based on him not being able to play, those 4 preseason games where he can get a rhythm with his wide receivers, even though I know they've been practicing against each other, but it's nothing like real life competition when someone is game planning against you. And even with the receivers, they can get alligator arms where if you're told in practice to lay off the receivers, don't hit them. But in a real life game, you coming across the middle, you're like, wait up, this ain't practice. If I catch the ball, it's no whistle blowing. It's like, hey, I'm catching the ball, I can get laid out. So there's probably a little fear in the back of their minds, a little timing issue. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's nothing hard to overcome. I think eventually he'll get back in rhythm, the more games he plays under his belt.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the lack of preseason games but the lack of everything. You had OTAs that were missed. You had involuntary workouts that didn't happen, due to COVID-19. So there's a lot of time, a lot of connection time between all quarterbacks and their receivers that have been missed due to COVID-19. So we're going to have to expect that football not be so sharp the first couple of weeks, because this, for all intents and purposes, is going to be their preseason game. They're going to be working out the kinks on a lot of these things. You talked about full speed, and you're not practicing in full speed. You just can't. Not with the size of the contract that some of these players have. You can't practice at full speed. You got to lay out the quarterback, lay out the running back, lay out the receivers. And so you're not getting a true look, and that's what preseason is. You get 1 or 2 series, game 1, game 2, game 3 is usually the game where you play the first half. Game 4, usually you don't play, and it's just all the guys on the bubble. But that's still 3 games that you've gotten in of actual live action that you're not getting now. And so it's going to take 2 or 3 games for offenses to click. But if that offense clicks, like if it looked bad yesterday and they still put over what came up to almost 400 yards in offense, come on, man. And that's no practice, no nothing. Wait till they get in sync.
And the Chiefs play so fast, man. You remember the old game Tecmo Bowl?
Yep.
Where out of 49ers, my brother used to have this one play on Tecmo Bowl with the 49ers. It was Montana to Rice, or Super Tecmo Bowl was Young to Rice. What I'm saying is that when you play that fast, your offensive line is fast, your receivers are fast, your QB is fast. No matter whether you prepared or not, you play fast, you're always going to put pressure on another team. And I know Houston has a great defense, but at the end of the day, they can't match the high power offense or even the play calling of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dude, the Chiefs put up 31 unanswered points. Houston took it down. That was a nice drive. Houston took it down. They scored, got up 7-0. You're like, oh, snap.
Right.
It's about to be one.
Right.
It's about to be one. And Kansas City said, okay, hold my beer.
Yeah. Unanswered. 31 unanswered. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's a scary team right now. and even after week 1, and you see the potency of that team. And again, this is without OTAs and summer work and all this other stuff. Wow, when this team gets firing on all cylinders, they were trying to get a running back since they let go of Kareem Hunt a couple of seasons ago due to that domestic violence situation, and I think they found it. I think they found a running back, dude. I think they found a running back that's going to keep you honest. And what do you do now? What do you do? I mean, you can't. You have to believe only 6 in the box. You have to leave 5 back for Patrick Mahomes. And now, when they showed a stat yesterday that he was at about 100 yards when there's only 6 guys in a box.
Wow.
I mean, if you don't have 7 guys in a box, my goodness. But you can't keep him in the box, because then Patrick Mahomes is going to carve you up. Mm-hmm. So now that you got this tough running game that showed its teeth yesterday, what are you going to do?
Right.
Do you leave him back and then let the running game kill you, or you bring him up and let MVP and Super Bowl winning quarterback Patrick Mahomes kill you? So this is a really scary offense, and with that running game with the rookie, he gave them that element that they needed that they didn't have since Kareem Hunt a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, now they got another toy, to add under the Christmas tree. So,
man, oh man. But I'll tell you what, that was a relief. There was so much that we needed, due to this pandemic and due to the restrictions that we've had. You talk about a sense of normalcy. Okay, that provided, and I know there weren't fans in the stands, and that's a reminder of what we're still going through. But to see football yesterday on time, brought back a sense of normalcy that this country needed. It brought back a sense of familiarity that we have at this time of the year, because we know it's football. Here in Chicago, man, it ain't gonna get out of the 70s. All right, it's in the 60s and 70s. That's football weather, baby. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about. That's football weather. And this is the time of the year that it comes, and this is the time of the year that the NFL, my hats off to the NFL for sticking to their guns and getting the season kicked off on time, because it allows us to, and this is what this was the main purpose of sports, was to get us away from reality. Get us away from reality and whatever's going on in the world. You got your Sunday, Thursday night, Sundays, and Mondays. You know what I mean? The NFL owns those days. And it was so good to see, because you forget about the pandemic, you forget about the presidential race, you forget about everything else, and all you worry about is football. And to me, that was so fun to get back to that sense of normalcy for that 3+ hours yesterday.
Yeah. And like I said, my main concern is our Bears. Even though they did kick off the season, I'm ready for the Bears, man. I'm ready to see those Chicago Bears, those navy blue and orange unis, to come out there, hopefully put up a W against the vaunted Detroit Lions on Sunday.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. We got a couple minutes before we go to break, and I don't want to get into the next topic because it's going to take us a couple minutes, and I don't want to break it up. Mm-hmm. But we'll stay with the Bears since you talked about it, man. And you know what? This is going to be good. I know a lot of people have jumped ship from the Bears. I know my cousin jumped ship. Now he's a Raiders fan. He's a Vegas Raider fan, and a lot of people are still a little sour on this team, and I'm apprehensive. But you see what I'm decked out in. Today.
I like the gear, man. Like, you look like one of the coaches, man. Like, you got the Lovie Smith thing going on here. Rex is our quarterback, like the Rex is our quarterback. This
is our quarterback, and but yeah, man, this is the thing. This is the time of year, and for me, football obviously is my favorite sport. Having played it since I was 10 years old. I retired when I was 40. I coached 15 years in there as well.
Wow. So
football is in my blood. It's in my DNA. And the Bears are my team, ride or die.
Yes. Like I said, as a running back, I know you're a former running back, man.
Yeah.
When it comes down to football, the Bears are known for running the ball, so that black and blue, you coming from Chicago, just having that background, man, it's in your DNA, brother. It's definitely your DNA.
It is. I don't know if I told you the story real quick before we go to break.
Uh-huh.
I tried to get a tryout with the Bears. So when I got back from I got to play professionally in Italy. And so when I got back and I was living in New York, I had my uncle, I had him represent me, and we sent letters and I was trying to get a tryout with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Rod Graves, he was director of player personnel at the time.
Yeah.
And he said that they didn't want because I didn't play much because I was hurt my senior year, going into my senior year.
Uh-huh.
So he said they wanted to see what they got in the draft, and they drafted Rashaan Salam. And then that's when they said, they were happy. I'm like, dude, Rashaan Salam says, can he play? Can he run between the tackles? I said, he ran the option at Colorado. I said, even the 2000th yard he got, was on an option. I said, can he run in Chicago in the snow and the sleet and the muck? I was like, I'm from Chicago. I played in Chicago. I said, and then he said, we'll see what we get. And they signed Anthony Thompson, guy out of Green Bay. I think he was Indiana, and played at Green Bay. And Rod Graves said, he said, we got him. And I said, wait a minute. And I had all the stats of all the running backs from the year before. And I said, is this the same Anthony Thompson that rushed for minus -2 or 3 yards for the Packers last season? And I was like, look, I said, I'm cheaper. I said, I'm hungrier. I said, I'm doing anything that's necessary to make the team. And he was like, then he finally broke it down. And he said, he goes, you know what? He goes, truth is, he goes, we'd rather have somebody who's in the league last year than who wasn't. Mm. And I was living in New York at the time. I was working in the World Trade Center, which is another topic for today. But and so I said, wait a minute, Mr. Graves. I'm like, so let me get this straight. I was like, you don't want to take a chance on me because I wasn't in the league before. Mm-hmm. I said, but how can I get in the league if no one gives me a chance?
Right.
And so you're talking about the ultimate catch-22.
That's
He's
right.
like, well, yeah, he goes, we'd rather have someone who's in the league last year, and good luck to you. I was like, you son of a beep, 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 beep. I didn't curse him out, but when I hung up the phone,
right. Yeah. Well, they blew their opportunity, man, because look, right now we still don't have a running back that's healthy, so nothing against David Montgomery, but mine is day-to-day right now, so we don't really know. So maybe you got to suit up, man, for Sunday, man. We got to give Superback a call.
Unfortunately, Joe. I think those playing days are long gone.
we get the ultra back down there with Ray My Harris, ultra back. It'd be like the superheroes, man.
That'd be one hell of a backfield. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NFL season kicked off last night with Kansas City beating Houston 34-20 in front of a crowd of about 17,000 socially distanced inside Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill also caught touchdown passes for the Chiefs. They've won 10 straight dating back to last season. That run includes a come-from-behind 51-31 win over the Texans in the divisional round of the playoffs. Texans QB Deshaun Watson tossed a touchdown pass and ran for another score, but he was also under relentless pressure and was picked off once. David Johnson had the biggest bright spot for the Texans, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 833-8ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. I was doing something crazy. It was silly. And I need to I need to get to finish that. Anyway. Oh boy. Anyway, next time of the morning topic, I'm gonna have to take care of that. I'm gonna have to take care of that. The next time of the morning topic, that's crazy. The Cubs, Ivan, there you go, the Cubs. Oh, he was ready. This Joker was ready. Oh, he was ready for that. The Cubs, man, they did a number. They came back yesterday and came back to beat the Cincinnati. Oh, now he's on camera. Oh, now he's language.
What up, Joseph?
How you did, man?
I'm good now.
Now the Cubs come back with an 8-5 victory over the Reds.
That's you've been on the hiatus, man. I haven't seen you in a while.
Guys, that's working.
Oh, okay.
Trying to keep everything as such. But no, I was actually really nervous up until about 10:30 at night when the game started, when they finally started making that comeback. It was like 3 rain delays. I woke up like twice and the game was still on.
Yeah. It took my wife. She says I was watching the Long Summer with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Telling her about the steroid era, and she was like, "I'm going to lay down." I was like, "Okay." She says, "Babe, the Cubs came back. They're up 6-3." I was like, "What? Stop playing." Sonny Gray been shut us down since he joined the Reds, So I was like, "Nah, this can't be true." And I look at Hulu, and just like, whoa, he actually fought back. I was like, normally we can bury the hatchet after 3-0 going into the 5th inning. I thought it was over for us, So not trying to be a bandwagon Cubs fan, but we haven't shown anything. I think this is the first game of the season they actually fought back. It's playing against an ace pitcher like Sonny Gray,
It just shows you exactly what the situation is, that the Cubs are ready to go. The Cubs are not, the attitude that that David Ross has instilled in this team. They have an identity. They, Joe, how have we been talking? We were talking, how the hell is this team in first place? All right. Brian was hurt. Rizzo wasn't playing the way he was. Javi wasn't playing the way it was. Where the hell are they getting all the runs from? This team was in first place. They're up 3 games at one particular point. This is the mentality that he has. This is exactly what he's got. He's got these guys believing. He's got Ian Happ, betting out of his mind, hitting out of his mind. He's having all the
He's in the MVP question.
Yeah, he is. He is in that conversation. Ian Happ is. Okay. And you all the big names that you have, all the firepower that you have, they're not living up to expectations, and you're still able to do that. And that comes from coaching or managing. Okay. When your guy has you believing that the last guy in that clubhouse is just as important as the highest paid guy. Now you got a ball club, and that's what's happening up on the north side on Clark and Addison, is that everyone believes that they're a part. Everyone believes that they are important to this team. Whatever role it is that you play, okay, it's important because they're buying exactly what he's selling, because you don't end up in first place. And I know that the NL Central is not very strong, the AL Central is not very strong, but you still have to beat teams. Okay, they're still professional players, and for you to be sitting in first place with all that offense left on the table, okay, with Brian, Rizzo, and Baez, and be in first place, that goes directly toward David Ross and the mentality that he has, those guys believing it.
Hey, Shawn, Ivan, can I say this also? They picking up his identity so much, where they even got his batting average like 208. I was just like, wait up. I was like, we're really picking up David Ross' identity. Like, he was a hard worker. He knew how to win, but he couldn't hit a lick.
Solid 230. Solid.
Everybody batting 208 like David Ross. But it's working, hey. It's working.
But no, the Cardinals did us a favor. Well, Detroit did us a favor by coming back to the Cardinals yesterday. So now we have that 3-game lead again.
Right.
But you don't want to see them drop series. Like we talked about it since the beginning of the season. It's about winning series. It's about stringing games together and winning wins together. And we didn't see that like in the past. Like I want to say past 2 weeks. It's been pretty rough. Like they've been maintaining, but they're not taking it to the next level. And I think I finally seeing a comeback in them because they had opportunities to come back in a lot of games this year, and we finally got a comeback win. I think this might be the thing that gets them going.
Right, and against Sonny Gray, like I said, Sonny Gray. Every time when I saw his name, I was like, oh no, it's over for us, man. And I told her. And the Cincinnati Reds came out the first inning, scored 3 runs. Yep. Boom, just like that. I was like, here it is. Once we get behind 3-0, Sonny Gray is gonna put us away. I don't know if it was the rain delay or not, but something happened in that dugout. They started making contact. Even Cameron Maven, he started to play big. He hit a triple last night. And he adding that little flavor to the lineup. He got. He almost like Willie Mays Hayes. I told you, like the guy got that amazing athletic skills, but sometimes you just can't hit the ball. So what I'm saying is that last night he came through in the clutch, hit a triple. Our black guys are starting to step up on the team. I almost thought I was looking at Dexter Fowler and Jason Hayward in 2016. How they have that brother connection in the outfield.
I like Cameron Maven though. I think Cameron Maven. I think he brings like some type of energy because he looks like he's happy to be a part because he was in Detroit. You remember we just before we traded for him.
Right, he was killing us in Detroit.
He beat us in Detroit, and then. And then, for him to come to a team that's contending like the Cubs and to do, hit a triple, like guys like that, like guys off the bench are so key. We had a bunch of guys coming off the bench for the Cubs in 2016 that were huge, key. Yeah. And to have, to find guys like that can contribute in those key moments and in big spots, it's tough. Like we've been searching for that kind of a group, maybe the past 3 years or something.
Right. So you talk about the most appropriate time. This is the most apropos time is like now you're in the last, 15, 18 games of the season. Okay. Now you come back with a big emotional win like that. Cause that was emotional. All right. You're down and all of a sudden now maybe this is the thing that kickstarts the Cubs. Maybe this is the thing that finally, you're in first. Now let's extend the lead. Let's not go coasting into it because there's a team called the LA Dodgers that we're going to end up having to go through once we get into the playoffs. And we need to step our game up to the level that they're at. And that maybe this is a game that they realize it. Maybe this is a game that turns their season around. And not that they're playing bad because they're in first, but that mentality, that attack and that attack mentality that the Cubs need. Maybe it lights a fire under Bryant and Baez and all those guys, all the big names. Because if the big names start playing, but if the Cubs are able to stay in first place without the big names,
right?
What can they do when the big names start playing? Oh my goodness! Now you're, I've never ever, I love giving you guys crap all the time, but I've never ever strayed away from the amount of talent that you guys have. You do have extremely talented players, and the majority of your core is still there from the 2016 World Series. So offensively, you guys got bats, and when they come alive, then that's definitely a lineup that should be feared throughout the National League playoffs.
I just wanted to note that, and also since 16, what's been missing is a belief within the team is a belief that they could win in any situation at any point in the game.
That's
that
right.
they can come back and win. No lead is insurmountable for the team. You know what I'm saying? I mean 10, 15 runs, like that might be a little insurmountable. But if it's within range, if it's within 4 to 5 runs, you got to believe that your team could go ahead and find a way to get three runs this inning, 1 run this inning, and another, and give yourself a chance in the ninth. You know, you gotta have that faith with it amongst that group that you're going to be able to do it and overcome.
And Shawn and Ivan, it was also a testament to the mental fortitude of this team. You know, last night game pretty much displayed the importance of the past and the present. You know, like past Cubs teams, like I said, not since 2016 have we seen, you know, like them actually like mentally fight back against an ace starter. You know, like I haven't seen that since 2016. You know, like since they beat Kershaw in the National League to win the pennant. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that a guy like Sonny Gray, who's been dominating us, you know, last night we made a statement. You know, I don't know how they were able to pull it off, but like I said, they put together some at-bats. They got some singles. They ignored the shifts, because that's another thing I noticed why a lot of our batting averages drop. A lot of teams start doing like organized shifts against us. And I know most people be like, yeah, everybody shifts against, but they actually shift against our team. Watch Rizzo when he's up the bat. Watch Schwarber when he's up the bat. Watch how defensive shift. It takes away a lot of hits, which also contribute to the batting averages. And when you're that good, teams are shifting against you, and you still getting hits, you need to watch out for that team.
And a lot of those hits are small. A lot of the ones that are either hit to a man in the shift or the guys just, you know, placed in the right spot in the shift. Some of those balls are like scorched. Some of them are scalded, and they should be doubles down the line, base hits, and they're not. They end up being outs. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You got to find a way to hit. I mean, you're a professional. You got to adjust, but it does suck at the same time. I think it takes a little bit away from the game, but you got to play the game right.
That's like cheating, man. That's almost like cheating. But like I tell my Sox buddies, you know, look, once they got you on the radar like that, they're gonna start shifting to get you out too. So,
well, they do. They shift against us. You see when Yo-Yo's up batting left, he's batting left-handed. Yeah, man, you said it, Ivan. Those guys, a lot of times, those balls are just scalded. They're just ropes. One hopper into, you know, and you got the second baseman playing short right. Like, man, dude, you know, it's like, come on, dude. There's no way, you know, the shortstop is behind second base, or he's on the second base side of second base. Like, come on, man. It's you know, I'm not a big fan of it. I get it. I understand it because you're trying to win, and you know, here's where the sabermetrics comes in. Okay, 84% of the time he hits a ground ball. It's to the pull side, so you know it makes sense. But to me, it takes the fun out of it a lot. Like that and pitch framing, I'm really not a big fan of. So
it's like zone. It's like a zone defense in basketball. You know.
Yeah. Good call.
That Syracuse 2-3.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the next top of the morning topic. The good guys from the South Side were off yesterday, and man, they needed it because you know what? They are on a streak starting today, 17 straight days to close out the regular season. You know, one of the things that's really bothered me about this is our number 2 starter, Dallas Keuchel, our free agent, our prize free agent off-season pickup, has been put on the 10-day injured list, and they recalled Ray Lopez. I wanted to cry.
Ray.
I wanted to cry. You know, Ray doesn't have his confidence. He doesn't have the stuff. I think we've come to the conclusion that Ray is not going to be here next year, or he's going to be in a relief role if he's here, and to have him start a game. And I'm just hoping that they're trying to line up Keuchel with the Twins. You know, I'm hoping that's the issue, and it's not something serious because it is his lower back, and backs are something you really can't mess with. But I'm not happy about Ray Lopez. I'm sorry, Papa. I liked Ray Lopez a lot, you know, a couple seasons ago, and man, he's just between the ears is that's his. You know, it's you versus you, and right now he's losing.
He could be the 2016 version of Jason Hamill. You know how, like Jason Hamill, he sucked in 2015, but when he came in 2016, actually I had to give him credit for helping sustain us through that season because he was so consistent. Now with Lopez, by being a short season, I think he can still turn it around. You never know. This could probably be that moment where, you guys have been really riding him pretty hard, and maybe he can come through in the clutch for y'all.
If it happens, believe you me, it will be a surprise to all of us. I just don't think mentally he has the fortitude right now. I think his confidence is shot. I think he, once he got sent down to Schaumburg, I think that really did a number on him. He's got a chance to redeem himself, but I don't know, Joseph. I don't know if he's going to be able to between the ears. I mean, pitchers, they're like kickers, man. They're very they're weird, they're out there, eccentric, and I don't know what his mental makeup is, but man, it could be weak. It could be very soft. And, I just don't see that fight in him. Man, when he goes to the mound, I'm scared. That's the game. That's the name. That's the game that we got to have 5 or 6 home runs.
Right.
We got to have 5 to 6 home runs to give a lead, or just to compete with whoever it is, because he's going to be giving up gopher ball and hit after hit. They're going to be putting quarters in the merry-go-round. Those jokers are going to be going round and round and round in bases when he's on the mound. That's a little scary.
That third starter looks a whole lot better now, huh? Like finding that third guy looks a whole lot better now.
Yeah, but I'm okay with. I hear you, but I'm okay, especially this season. I'm okay with Cease. I'm definitely okay with Dunning. Because if you told me in Game 3 we get to the playoffs in that first round and the best and that number 3 starter is Dylan Cease with Dane Dunning behind him, or Dane Dunning with Dylan Cease behind him, I am more than okay with it. Or Dylan Cease, one of those two with Carlos Rodon behind him.
Well, only one of them has shown real consistency. I mean, Cease has been great, but like he hasn't been like, to me at least, from the outside. And this is like the outside looking in perspective. It's like I don't think he's had that boom, that moment where it's like, oh wow, Dylan Cease is actually pretty freaking good. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't had like that lockdown moment, in my opinion.
One game, one inning every outing.
Yeah,
it's that one inning, and I'm okay with it as long as we score runs. Now Dane Dunning, on the other hand, that joker, 2 out of his 4 starts were shutout baseball that he was throwing.
I would like that because Dane Dunning sounds like the most consistent pitcher as of now. For like I said, he only got a limited amount of starts from the both of them in the majors. But right, but if you're looking for a third starter, I want consistency. So a Dane Dunning with consistency, and then having a guy with velocity like a Cease coming in behind him, that might be a more dangerous combo instead of starting Cease over the Dunning.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm
also remember we were saying this earlier in the season. Switch those aces up a little bit. I'll play a psychological game. And I'm just throwing it out here. If I was a coach, I'll make our third starter start game 1. You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? And get them out of the way, whether we win or lose. If we win it, great. That means that our 1 and 2 guys can close out the series. You see what I mean? So what I'm saying is that this is where Rick Renteria comes in where he can really be creative with this. And play some psychological games. Now, I don't think he's going to do that, but it's just a suggestion. And this is a way you can put fear into people's heart. This is a way you can build confidence in other starters, where you'd be like, you know what? I'm going to throw you in a rotation. I'm going to make you our ace today. Okay, you ready to go? And most guys mentally, what I'm saying is that you'd be surprised how they'll get up. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm just saying that if it gets to the playoffs and they decide, hey, we want Cease to open up, maybe we want Cease, so we want bump heads with their stars. We want Cease to open up game 1. And if he just so happens to pitch a great game and shut down their ace, then great. Now they got to deal with our 2 aces, which is Keuchel and Giolito. You see what I mean?
Final 2 games, yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm saying, you can play with that as a coach. I don't think Rick Renteria, I don't know if he got the guts to do that I know Ozzy will probably pull off something like that. But I'm just saying that's something to think about, to throw out there, to play with the pitcher's confidence to see, are they game or not?
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I don't know if I would have the cojones for that, because that's a lot of balls, because you got to put, you don't want in a best of 5 series, you don't want to go down on 1. If you go down on 1, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't sweep, because if that's the case, because then your number 3 pitcher, if he's in the number 1 slot, he's gonna end up pitching game 4. And
yeah, that's true. Or you can give him 2 or 3 innings. Then bring in, how the Florida Marlins did the Cubs in 2003, where Josh Beckett would come in the 3rd inning and shut everybody off from 3rd through the 9th inning. You see what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right. I didn't remember that, Joe. You're right. You're right.
Ozzy was a part of that team too. Ozzy was a part of that team. So, they had all type of tricks waiting for the Cubs to defeat us in the series. Then they took down the juggernaut Yankees the next series, So this team is young, man. You can play a lot of games with this team, man. If you really want to,
And especially in this year, why not?
Right.
Why not? Everything's all topsy-turvy and jacked up anyway. Why not? That actually now that I'm thinking about it, Joe, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. That makes a hell of a lot of sense, because you're not locked into those 3 starters. You usually lock down and say, okay, these are my 3 starters, but you can switch it up, man, and maybe throw Dunning in for game 4. You know what I mean? In a game 4 and switch it, Dunning and then Cease, or Dunning and put Carlos Rodon behind it. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. There's no set rules for it, and especially in a crazy year like 2020, why not? Because it'll definitely throw you off your square if you bring a guy in the 3rd inning or 4th inning, and usually you go through the line the first time, the pitcher might get the best of you. Okay, The second time through the order, and definitely the 3rd, the batters have an advantage. You don't get to it. Some people don't get to a second time, and definitely not a 3rd time through seeing the same pitcher. And now you have to adjust, and it's going to take innings that eats up innings, which eats up the amount of time that you have to get back in the game if you're down.
Right.
Good idea, Joe.
A non-traditional season, and like I said, I know y'all may not have a Josh Beckett out there, but I know with the Cubs, we knew we had to score before the 3rd or 4th inning, because we knew once Josh Beckett came out there, we just got so frustrated. We was like, oh my gosh, here's this dude. He's throwing sliders, fastballs, uppercuts. I mean, he was just like, pop, pop, pop. I mean, the ball was coming like this, like we couldn't touch stuff, no matter when you put them in. So same thing with you guys. You have a chance to be a little bit non-traditional, and shock a few teams, especially if you play the Twins in the first round. You can mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. I really hope Keuchel will be okay. Like I said, he's on the 10-day. You put him on a 10-day IL, so that's going to be a retroactive Monday, so he can pitch Wednesday or so, something like that next week. So it's going to be tough, but we need him. We need him, Giolito, and then that 3rd person is who we can get. And I see what you're saying now, Ivan. How that the trade for a quality, a proven pitcher, and now you got 1, 2, 3 locked up for sure, for real. And but who's to say that he doesn't get injured? You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
And who's to say Michael Kopech isn't the next coming of Randy Johnson? You know what I mean? I get, like, both sides have their argument, but in a season like this, I would rather come in because you have the percentage for your opportunity to win the World Series jumps. I want to make sure it goes even higher. So, like, me solidifying that 3rd guy, well, I don't have to really worry about it, because he's a vet. He's either the guy I'm talking about would either have been into a playoff position, or is just a veteran that can handle himself as a professional out there in a high stakes situation. But it's not to say that the Sox are wrong, because they're holding on to their prized possessions. They're holding on to the things that they're holding on to their future. So if you're not going to go ahead and tax your future if you don't really truly believe in it. But if they could have found a guy for the right deal, I mean, I think I would have.
Or Kopech, here it is. Kopech can be your Beckett, man. Y'all talking about, like, hey, All we need you to do is come in, throw 3 or 4 hits, and shut guys out.
Is he eligible?
No, I don't know.
No. As of right now, they had talked about having maybe potentially having players opt back in, but that has not been okayed yet. Because I'll tell you what, if there was a situation where they allowed players back in, well, hopefully he's training now. Because if that's even on the table for discussion, if that's even in any discussion, then he needs to be training now. He needs to be pitching now. He needs to be, going at it all in. Because if it does, then yeah, man, he's got to get his control back. He's got to get some simulated games in. He's got a lot to do because you can't just come off the street and start throwing. And it's against guys who've been, even though it's only 60 games, you're still 60 games. And now you're warm. You're locked in. We're talking about batters now, and you can't just go just because you throw 100 miles an hour. Hey, there's guys who can turn on 100 mile an hour. They're just going to put it 500 feet instead of 400 feet. That's all. So
get that 105 miles out.
Hey.
I know it's 100, but he 100 plus. All I'm saying is this: you get his mind right. If that option is available to you, he comes back in a hero role, which is what we talked about at the beginning of the season. Here's your chance to redeem your esteem. Here's your chance to take your mind off of all that stuff been going on off the field and to become a World Series champion. Here's your opportunity. Lead us to the promised land. Lead us to the promised land so we can play the Cubs.
And beat them. Hey, on that note, we got to take a break. Hey, Joseph, thanks, Papa. I appreciate it. And do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Okay, guys. First of all, you guys can want to read any of my stories, you can visit ChicagoCrusader.com. Like I said, this week will be on White Sox Ace Academy. Also, Cubs Sox recap of the weekend. And last but not least, the Bears opening game against the Detroit Lions. Hopefully, Mitch can get us a win. Money Mitch. Hopefully. Go Bears.
Bear down, baby. All right, Papa, we'll see you on Monday, all right?
All right. God bless.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we got more Bears talk with me and your boy right there. You see him, the Wiz himself, Ivan Vargas, coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NFL season kicked off last night with Kansas City beating Houston 34-20 in front of a crowd of about 17,000 socially distanced inside Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill also caught touchdown passes for the Chiefs. They've won 10 straight dating back to last season. That run includes a come-from-behind 51-31 win over the Texans in the divisional round of the playoffs. Texans QB Deshaun Watson tossed a touchdown pass and ran for another score, but he was also under relentless pressure and was picked off once. David Johnson had the biggest bright spot for the Texans, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And we just got done with our first segment, top of the morning segment. And that is always with Joseph Phillips. He works for the Chicago Crusader as our top of the morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader. And let me tell you, interesting conversation. But, we're going to switch gears. It is here. Bears season is here. You see me. I do look like one of the coaches. That's hilarious. That's funny. But we have some good conversation. And me and my guy, Ivan Vargas, are gonna get into it because I'll tell you what, there's a lot I'm concerned about. And I've expressed my concerns. And as excited as I am for the season to start, for the Bears to play on Sunday, I'm equally as concerned, if not more concerned, with a lot of the glaring deficiencies and holes that they have in this team. For starters, Robert Quinn was on the injured reserve. He was on the injured list of the injury report. Didn't practice. Okay, and this is after time where the Bears gave him some time to deal with a personal matter. So he hasn't practiced very much at all.
Oh, did I lose your show? Oh, looks like we lost Shawn. But yeah, so Robert Quinn hasn't practiced that much, but I don't think the Bears are too concerned. I think it's more of a situation where Robert Quinn is going to go out there and just go do his job and chase after the quarterback. I don't think you need a guy like you need to give a guy like Robert Quinn too many reps. My main concern is Jalen Johnson on the outside, a rookie going up against it looks like just Marvin Jones Jr. I think Kenny Galladay's on the IR for the Lions, or he's questionable for the Lions right now. So I guess we'll see in the next couple of days whether he'll be facing off against the Bears or not. But Jalen Johnson goes up in his rookie year against two guys that could really stretch the field and could pretty much embarrass him if he's caught out of position. So I'd like to see how the first year rookie cornerback gets going against two guys that are true professionals that can run good routes, that have good speed, and can go up and get the ball. By all accounts, I mean, like the Bears are happy with Jalen where Jalen's at. I just hope that he's able to show me on the field on Sunday instead of being us talking about him doing so well at practice. The big thing is it's Mitch. I guess the elephant in the room is Mitch Trubisky. Why did the Bears go ahead and give Mitch to start over Nick Foles? Is it because Nick didn't have much time? Is it because Ryan Pace secretly was never going to change? I think Ryan Pace is just trying to save his behind. And by all accounts, you gotta have to listen to the players. All the players say Mitch has been taking his game to another level. And I know, like for me, I heard that last year. I don't want to buy that same fool's gold, but if there is another step, where do we go for, like, how do we decipher where Mitch is as a player right now? I don't think we can without a preseason. I don't think we can without seeing an actual lengthy competition with Nick Foles. And we're not going to know until we see it on Sunday. So once Sunday comes, I think Shawn's trying to get back on right now. Once Sunday comes, I think we're going to find out who Mitch is. But also, you got to take into account Mitch has been historically good against the Detroit Lions. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. 70 completions, 1,359 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 106.3 passer rating. He destroys the Lions, but so do most teams. So, you kind of have to take this with a grain of salt. It's like, yeah, you're good against the Lions, kid, but the Lions suck. So it's you just want to start the season out with a win. You want to see him start out well. I don't think anybody wants to start out the season 0-1, especially Mitch Trubisky, especially when you can have a quick hook on you and your job's on the line. This pretty much I would say, because of the scrutiny that Mitch has taken on, it'll be hard for him to probably find another job in the league. I mean, he might have to go out and show somebody, and prove himself again, or even prove himself for the first time. But as far as this year is concerned, man, like if Mitch this first half, I'd give him the first half. If Mitch throws 2 picks in the first half, expect there to be a switch. But if he comes out and these the first 3 weeks he's solid, there's not many mistakes, he's limited on turnovers, I think that'll be the brightest spot. But if he comes out these first 3 weeks, and I say 3 weeks because the first 3 weeks are easiest. I think they're easy wins. If the Bears are prepared, if you're prepared, they should be easy wins. But if he goes into week 4, and I forgot, I think week 4 might be the Saints or so. It's a tougher opponent than the first 3. If he goes into week 4 and lays an egg, I'm expecting Nick Foles again. We're not going to see a Nick Foles until about halfway through the season if Mitch doesn't play well. Shawn's internet crashed. Oh, that's not good. Oh, there he goes. Hey, all right. I was holding down the fort.
Oh, I got you. Good looking out.
I was just breaking down. I was talking about Jalen Johnson at first because my biggest matchup is other than the tight end, my biggest matchup for Sunday is Jalen Johnson versus the receivers. A rookie, your starting rookie cornerback versus 2 pros and Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay, St. Rita product, shouting you out.
Sorry, Rita in the house. Say Rita in the house. Go Mustangs.
But he is questionable. I think he has some type of an injury, and I mean that might fare well for Jalen. But with all the talk about him and that his pedigree is a first rounder. And he got drafted in the second round. He has that first round pedigree, but he got drafted in the second round. I'm hungry to see him go out there and I don't want to see him get embarrassed, but I just want to see what he has, because we've just besides Cole Kmet, we've heard a lot about Cole Kmet, but we really haven't heard a lot about, or we haven't seen too much of Jalen Johnson. I want to see how he fares against these receivers.
He's the fact that Kenny Galladay, St. Rita product, is nursing a hamstring injury. It bodes well for us. It bodes well and plus, even though I think either way, because if he's on one side and it's Kyle Fuller, then you got an All-Pro guy on him there. But I'm really thinking Jalen Johnson, to me, is a guy that I'm looking forward to seeing. I think he's got the attitude. I think he's got the confidence. I think he's got the self-belief. Now he needs is the snaps. I think this guy was, again, as I said the other day, he was the 3rd-rated cornerback in this draft. And for other 2 went first round. He was right there with him, and the only thing that really held him back was his shoulder, the status of his shoulder. So you're right. He is a first-round talent. Now he's got to play like one. And if he can play like one, but see, here's the problem. Khalil Mack he was on the injury report with with a knee issue. Robert Quinn as well. So that was those type of things are things that are caught that give me caution. Here we go on the injured list. Robert Quinn was an ankle. He didn't practice. Khalil Mack, a knee. He was limited. David Montgomery, a groin. He was limited. Cordell Patterson, knee, limited. There's 2/3 of our running back crew. Jason Spriggs, offensive lineman, knee, limited. Javon Wims, Achilles, limited. And Jermaine Ifedi, tricep, full. So these are all things that not – and don't get me wrong. You play games. You play games with people. Okay, you say people are hurt or they're on the injured list, you put them on there, and then day of the game that you have to turn in your final one. He's not on there. People aren't on there, so it can be a game as well. But
I think Belichick put like half his offensive line on there one time or something like that, like out of spite.
Yeah. So it's gamesmanship, and we'll see. And I hope it is. In regards to Montgomery, he, there was videotape of him yesterday. He was running routes, coming out of the backfield, running wheel routes, look good. Okay. But when you're running straight, that's okay. When you got to stop and start and dip and go laterally, that's where your groin will really be taxed. And hopefully he is 100% or pretty damn near it. So when he does do his cutting and stopping and jump starts, and it's not going to affect him and it's not going to re-aggravate it, because I'm still not a big Cordero Patterson in the backfield. He's a gimmick kind of guy, I think. He's strong, don't get me wrong. He's a big kid, 6'6", big guy, 6'3", 6'4", 225, but you don't get running backs that big. You don't get running backs that big, especially if you're going right between the tackles. That's a lot of area you're giving defensive linemen and linebackers to hit. So,
I mean, you got Derrick Henry. He's not Derrick Henry. Don't misscrew my words. But you got a Derrick Henry that's a tall guy. That's big, stout, and can run you over. I don't think like I said, he's not Derrick Henry by any means. But if you can get a guy with speed to hit the hole with power, like he's done in New England and he did a little bit with the Bears. If you could get him going north and south with speed and power, I think it benefits the running game. If his positive yards after it, it's a positive thing, is it not?
Here's the thing: is you have to. I don't know what this offensive line where they're at. All right, if in the general consensus is Juan Castillo brings an attitude to his offensive line that apparently the last offensive line coach did not. This guy's is a lot more in your face. He demands physical play. He demands just a different attitude, a different mentality. So if that's the case, and you're able to, man up and lock up and, get to the second level, we're talking for some guards on double teams, then I think a Cordell Patterson is good because he is fast. And that's one guy, if he gets going, I mean, he's one of those guys because he's so big, like you can't arm tackle him. Okay, an arm tackle won't slow him down. And if they're able to get on your blocks and literally not even make clean blocks, just get in the way, this guy can run by people. And in that 5-yard, zone from the line of scrimmage, if you can get in people's way and this guy can run by, yeah, that's going to be something good. That's going to be something fun. But can they do it is going to be the question.
Well, I think you're going to see the mix. You're going to see a mix of everybody, except for I don't think you're going to see David Montgomery this week. I wouldn't. Me personally, if I were the coach, if I were the medical staff, I would just be like, look, just another week, shut it down because, like you said, those groin injuries. Go ahead and make a cut with a groin injury. Try to go ahead and plant and turn with the groin injury. You're going to scream. you're gonna cry. And he's young, and we don't want to go ahead. We don't want to rush him back by any means. It's week 1. You know what I'm saying? It's only week 1 this season. You got a long season. If you come back healthy within the next couple weeks, make sure that's so.
Again, this boggles my mind as to why you don't go out and get a running back. Why they didn't sign a running back off the street. Their belief that Cordell Patterson can be one. No. It just falls in line with Nagy's thing because now he can only run him 6-8 times a game. Tariq Cohen 6-8 times a game, and now you're running less than 20 times a game, and that's right up Matt Nagy's alley, right up his MO. He's not a big fan of the run. We had a stud running back here before. He didn't use him, and it's.
So you got. Oh, go ahead.
If he doesn't run. If David Montgomery doesn't, but I'm telling you, from what I saw yesterday on the film, that's still, when you're running a route, yeah, he looked good. He didn't look ginger. He didn't look like he was taking it easy or being careful. He was out running a wheel route.
Yeah.
So that looked good, and that's part in the stability there too, because you're going out, then you're cutting up. That all affects your groin, and he looked good. So, knock on wood that he's 100%.
Right.
We're pretty damn close to it because I don't think Cordell Patterson and Tariq Cohen are the answers, to carry a whole game. Right. With that being said, he's got to, and I said this Wednesday, he has to get Tariq Cohen more involved in every game. He's got to have 15 touches a game. Okay? 10 to 15 touches a game. And it could be punt return. It could be, as a back coming out of the backfield. It could be as a slot. This guy needs 10 to 15 touches a game for this offense for him to be maximized to his fullest potential.
Yeah, and the things that they didn't do last year, bringing him out, running him out to the slot, moving him around, actually running the football with him. They barely ran the football with Tariq. And I think he's a little bit. He's small and it's tough to run between the tackles when you're that. You're of that stature, but he could do enough to gain positive yards, I would say. But until David Montgomery is 100% comes back, you're stuck with Ryan Nall, Tariq Cohen, and Cordell Patterson. Now Ryan Nall, he's been on the practice squad for a few years, and he finally made the team last year, I think, or he didn't make the team last year. I think he came up from he got elevated from the practice squad
a couple times, yeah,
when it went down. But Ryan Nall he's not proven. Cordell Patterson, like you said, he's gimmicky. He's only done it here and there. Tariq, he's small. He needs to be used in multiple different ways, and you really only have one true running back. Well, I mean, two maybe if you want to count Ryan Nall, but you have David Montgomery, and that's it as far as your traditional true running backs.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that position. I really am. With Tariq Cohen, as long as you get him, your outside zone or kind of stretching the defense and have him find a hole and get up in there.
Get down.
Because he's the type of guy who can stop, start, change. He can stop, change direction, and go the other way and make a big play. Montgomery's not necessarily that type of dude. Tariq Cohen is that dude. So if you have him in outside zones and he's getting there, he's stretching, and there's nothing. He can stop, start, go the other way, hit a crease. He cuts back. All of a sudden, he sees the crease. He plants his foot in the ground and goes up. All of a sudden, now you're chasing a little bugger. And and that because that's his game, that's his style of running. Montgomery, it's a little different. He's a little more shaky but he's not the kind of guy who can cut back as well or as quickly as Tariq Cohen and make a play.
Right. Well, see, you know what? It's funny you say that because why not call the runs that are suited for each running back style? You know what I mean?
Now you're just being stupid because that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right?
That makes sense.
It makes sense. It won't happen because it makes sense.
It makes sense. You're being stupid because that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Please don't do that on this show. Don't make sense. Don't do that. Now, when it comes to Matt Nagy and his play calling, do not make sense.
Do not make sense. No, but I hope he turns a tide. I mean, I hope there's a change because that's this running game, regardless of who's in the backfield or who's on the depth chart, regardless of who's there, it needs to be a key part. Like there's running backs like James White won the Super Bowl MVP. You know what I mean? Like there's running backs out there that if you use them correctly, if you use their skill set to the fullest potential, they will be great running backs for you. You don't need a brand name. You don't need an Adrian Peterson. You need running backs who could do their job and do it well.
But there's also running backs out there that fit your system. Go get them. Draft them. Sign them off the street. Okay? Sign free agent running backs that fit your system. So now you can't complain. You see what Kansas City did.
What if that guy's a bum, though? What if we signed, and not saying Leonard Fournette, what if we signed a Leonard Fournette? Leonard Fournette has an atrocious season, and we blow some type of money on him. Let's say we gave him, a multiple year contract. Let's say we gave him 2 years, and we just blew that money because Leonard Fournette he played only 8 games the first year. He was sloppy, and then the next year he was hurt again, and then we just pretty much shit the bed for lack of better words. It's scary to think that.
But you have a guy the guy had 1,100 yards rushing and 500 yards receiving.
And how many guys?
He played in the elements. He plays on grass. So
how many running backs have we seen? How many running backs have we seen have great years and then all of a sudden they're nowhere to be found the next year? I mean, I've seen it
2 out of 3 years. 2 out of 3 years, Leonard Fournette. 2 out of 3 years, he's had over 1,000 yards. So it's not like it's a flash in the pan. This guy had a decorated college career. He comes to the NFL, and 2 out of his 3 years in the league, his first and his third, has 1,000 yards. His last year, he had 500 yards receiving. He had 70-something catches. So what part of that doesn't he fit? He fits every part of it. He fits almost every part of it. He's not as shifty as a running. I can't even think of the running back that the Chiefs let go, and he just signed a deal. Kareem Hunt. He may not be as shifty, okay, but he's powerful, and that's what you need. Those shifty backs, they don't do well when the weather gets bad. They don't, and that's one of the things that I think that Brian. That I don't know if Matt Nagy understands. Like you want these small shifty backs. We're in Chicago. You're talking a playoff run. What if it's snowing? What if it's slushing and sleeting, and that field is crap? And we've seen it multiple times. That field just be a cesspool, and you want a shifty guy at that particular point on the lakefront in the playoff game running the ball for you? Hell no. Give me a Jordan Howard type. Give me a Leonard Fournette type. Give me a guy who's built for that thing, who's built for that type of because you have to think big picture. You can't just think of in September and October when the weather's nice. You have to think of we're going into the playoffs, and in playoff time Chicago, we don't know what the hell we can get. And it's and I need a running back that I know that if it's you know, he's a mutter. His mother was a mutter. His father was a mutter. I need guys like that who can produce in those types of conditions, because those are the types of conditions that we're going to play in if we're here in Chicago.
I mean, I see where you're going with, but you also got to think that he played on a Jacksonville team with a Blake Bortles, their passing was obsolete, and they just ran the football. So those 1,000 yards are kind of padded, because all you're doing is your only option is to feed Leonard Fournette. So I mean, I could take those with a grain of salt as well. And also you have off-field issues that he's had. There's multiple things, and it's not just Leonard Fournette. It could be any running back. I'm just saying, if you take a chance on a running back with a name and he ends up not being that guy, and now you alienated some of the running back, especially the guy that you drafted to be a part of this system, and a David Montgomery, and this guy's a bum, I think you have more problems. That's more problems Ryan Pace created for himself, bringing in somebody who's not a part of what's going on right now, I think.
Here's the thing. First of all, he cleared waivers. So that means that he wasn't obliged. No one had to pay him his contract. All right? If someone picks him off waivers and you pay him the contract. So he clears waivers, it's done. You pay him, you offer him whatever the hell you want to offer him. He doesn't have a contract anymore. Okay? So you don't have to give him a 2-year deal. You give him a 1-year deal. Secondly, the fact that him being in Jacksonville and Blake Bortles sucked, guess what? That lends support to my argument, in that you knew he was running the ball, because you knew who the hell the quarterback was, and he didn't scare you one iota. He didn't scare you jack spit. Did he scare you? So you know that Leonard Fournette's going to get the ball. So not only did the guy had 1,600 yards.
Yeah, but if I feed a guy for 16 games, if I feed him for 16 games, he had a decent offensive line. If I feed him for 16 games, a bruiser with a decent offensive line, he's gonna clip 1,000 yards. He's gonna clip 1,000 yards. So depending on the way they went about it,
yards receiving. I mean, you don't. That's not. He
just had that. He worked on his passing.
But what's the point? I don't understand your point. He worked on, so now he's a good receiver.
No, that's not.
But now you're going back 2 years when he first came in the league. He's not the same person. He is a new person now.
But they were the same team. They were the same team. They just started passing to him more because they have no options. So they were leaning on Leonard Fournette for everything. That's what I'm saying.
1,600 yards, dude. You give me.
Well, you're not going to lean on Leonard Fournette for everything.
Exactly. You don't need to, but you could. Okay, so which means that we have Allen Robinson. God willing, Anthony Miller stays healthy. Okay, God willing, now we got the tight ends as well. So now he's not going to be the workhorse. So now, guess what? He's going to be actually more effective, because you're not going to key on him. Everyone was keying on him because they had no one else. You had no one else to perform offensively in Jacksonville, and that's why I was so upset. Like, you bring this guy in, the contract, you give him the league minimum, all right, the league minimum, because he cleared waivers, and it's a prove it year, dude. This is the guy that I wanted, and this is the guy that they didn't get. Yeah, the off-the-field issues they concern me. Okay, they do. What about what?
He's had injury issues as well.
All right,
he's had injury issues. He's had off-field injury issues. Like they said, the guy. Like Leonard Fournette, I wanted Leonard Fournette. I was like, hey, let's do it. But now that I keep looking at it, I'm like, well, you have a backfield that's already like packed. You got a guy, who's not a part of this system. It's like, how well could it have worked? Would it have been another Jordan Howard where you're barely using him? Would it have gone down to where it get to crunch time and you're not using your bruising running back? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that could happen, because this is not this type of system for that type of a running back.
So here's as far as his injuries go. Okay, he played 13 games his rookie year. Then his second year, he was injured. He played 8. He played half the season. Then last year he played 15. So we're talking 2 out of the 3 seasons he's played an average of 14 of the 16 games. This is a running back. Okay, this is a running back. Running backs get banged up, which is why you need 2 of them. And yeah, you really do on the practice squad. But this, it's unfortunate we're arguing a moot point because he's not here. But it bothers me because when a guy like that with that type of skill set comes in, I don't understand how they can't go after him and say we need this guy. He's he's on the market. He fits us perfectly, especially if you're looking big picture. You're looking at December, January. What's the weather going to be like in Chicago? Who's my running back, and can he carry and can he deliver the mail in December and January if the games are on the lakefront? Or what if they have to go to Green Bay? What if they have to go somewhere else? Okay, in the elements. I mean, I'm not worried about the turf. If you got to go to New Orleans, okay, fine. He can run on the turf. If you got to go to where else? Dallas, okay, I'm not worried about it. He's fine. What about the elements? When elements come into play, do you have a guy who can succeed and excel in those conditions? Because if you don't, you've taken a big weapon in your arsenal and you've rendered it useless. So can David Montgomery be that guy? I don't know. Iowa State plays on turf, so I don't know. Which is why I want the Bears, because damn near everyone in college is going turf. So you're not getting a true assessment of what these guys, their abilities to play in the muck. Mm-hmm. And for the Chicago Bears, that's extremely important if you're talking about playoff games here in Chicago in the beginning of the new year or after the first of the year. So in January, because that's what you can expect the field to be like. And don't give me no Shady McCoy or Tariq Cohen as your back in mud. It's just not going to work. Period.
I mean, it can work if you're using it. If you're using it the way it should work, it can work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not as a workhorse. Yeah, if you use him as
not for a workhorse, not for a workhorse. You for a Tariq, you put him in the slide. Like I said, you move him around. You make sure he's on the move because you got to keep him off balance. But I want to switch. I want to switch over to another key that I was thinking about for Sunday.
Let's do me a favor. Let's hold on to that. We'll start off with that on the other side of the break. On the other side of the break, we have more Bears conversations, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NFL season kicked off last night with Kansas City beating Houston 34-20 in front of a crowd of about 17,000 socially distanced inside Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill also caught touchdown passes for the Chiefs. They've won 10 straight dating back to last season. That run includes a come-from-behind 51-31 win over the Texans in the divisional round of the playoffs. Texans QB Deshaun Watson tossed a touchdown pass and ran for another score, but he was also under relentless pressure and was picked off once. David Johnson had the biggest bright spot for the Texans, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Right before the break, Ivan and I were talking. We're getting into deep discussion. I like it about Bears. The Bears this weekend. Bears travel to the Motor City, the Motown itself, take on the Detroit Lions. And my high school colleague himself, he wouldn't be a colleague. He came out way years after I did. So Kenny Galladay, brethren, and Mustang brethren, Mustang alumni. A fellow Mustang, Kenny Galladay, who again he's on the injured list. He's nursing a hammy, and so that he might not be. He's not at full strength, so that really helps the Bears. It plays in their favor. One other thing that plays in their favor is that Matt Patricia. And here's what's really scaring me. I believe they got a new defensive coordinator. Now I'm not sure how important that is because does Matt Patricia still call the defense?
Well, I think it's so Matt Patricia's defense, like as a.
But is he calling the plays?
Right.
Because here's why: is that if you know anything about Mitch Trubisky and his success against the Lions, is because the Lions don't play zone; they like to play man, and his rocket scientist degree that Matt Patricia has, I find it very difficult to understand why he would continue to run man to man when this guy can't read a zone. Okay, so if this guy can't read a zone, throw zones at him. Why is that such an issue for Matt Patricia to understand? But Matt Patricia, I don't get it. The thing is, you're trying to get a W. No one gives a damn if you're a rocket scientist or if you're a janitor. If you're calling plays, you have to understand what your opponent's weaknesses are and what their strengths are. His weakness, which is a big one, is being unable to identify zones. So you come up and you hide some coverages, you show, and then you all of a sudden you change at the last moment, really get him flustered. Why Matt Patricia has not done that in the 4 times that they played, I have no idea. So if Matt Patricia is still calling this game and he doesn't run zone and he continues to have man and play man against this Bears offense, they're going to win again. And it's going to be a false sense of security for Bears fans because if Mitch comes out with 275, 250 or more, God, if Mitch is in the threes with 2 or 3 tutties and no picks, maybe 1 pick, depending on how ugly the pick is, people are happy. Okay. But it doesn't, you could put a lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Right. And, this would be a great thing for Matt Patricia to do for us is to come out game 1, if Mitch is not improved, if Mitch hasn't been able to improve on reading defenses, throw some zones at him, and if he can't perform, yank him and get a guy in there.
Zone blitz, zones. I just throw all that at him, and I think he might find some success. But we talk about putting lipstick on a pig, like that lipstick for Mitch Trubisky is the Detroit Lions. Like, look at the stats. Over 1,300 yards all time, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 106 passer rating. And if you just isolate it to the games under Matt Nagy, the numbers get better. 74% completion. The yards are down, but that's only because the games are limited. 866 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 132.4 quarterback rating. But it's the Lions. You know what I mean? It's the Lions. You should be balling out against the Lions. This defense hasn't existed in 10 years. You know what I mean? You should be balling out against the Lions. So I take that. I take that with a grain of salt as well. You're good, Mitch, but you're good against the bad teams, the team that you're supposed to be good against. Why aren't you doing that against the teams that you're, that are a little tougher? Why aren't you excelling like you do against the Lions with other teams?
I'll tell you why. Part of it is him, and I'm not going to absolve Mitch of any responsibility because he has to carry the blame of his bad performance. Okay, he's got to do that. But part of the reason part of the reason is that Matt Nagy craps the bed. Matt Nagy doesn't call games against good teams the way he calls games against bad teams. Okay, and I don't know if it's his inexperience. Well, it must be his inexperience. I don't know if he's being intimidated or what. Or if he's got the yips when it comes or gets nervous. I don't know what it is. All right. But the games that against good teams, though the games that he calls with those teams are not the same games that he calls against teams that are not very good. Okay. The only game when the Cowboys weren't even that good is that Cowboy game. my question is always going to be, why don't you continue to call games like that for Mitch Trubisky, where you have him moving out of the pocket, where you're giving him confidence, and once he gains confidence, then he can stand in the pocket, stand tall, and transfer his weight properly and throw a ball downfield or zip it in between defenders or get it to an out route or get it to a corner route. He can do that because he's got confidence. So why Matt Nagy refuses to do things to give this quarterback confidence, I have no idea. And Mitch Trubisky has a much stronger arm than Nick Foles, but Nick Foles can get it done. Nick Foles, what Nick Foles does is to compensate for his lack of arm strength. He throws it to a spot. It comes out on time. Okay, so you can get the same results, but I just, if this is the number 1 draft pick, and for the Bears, which it was, that they traded up and gave away draft capital for, put this dude in every position to be successful. Mm-hmm. And Matt just won't do it. And that, again, for the umpteenth time, frustrates me as a former player, as a former coach, because I see it plain as day, and I see his reluctance to do that plain as day as well.
Here's the thing. It's just I want to trust that they made the right decision, and I'm sure that they want to trust that they made the right decision.
Bringing Nagy in or taking Mitch, or both?
What was that?
What decision? You want to trust the decision to bring in Nagy or to draft Mitch?
To have Mitch as the starter. Mitch as the starter. Okay. I want to I want to believe that he's taken a step, but like I said, we've seen it last year. We've seen the inconsistencies are just so glaring that it's hard to be like, all right, let's be optimistic. Maybe he's made a jump. You can't within 4, and I know we're going to point to. He was under John Fox, and then he had to switch. And it's like, yeah, okay, but it's 4 years now. Like you should see some, at least an uptick in consistency, if anything. Like you shouldn't see these bad passes. You shouldn't see overthrown balls to wide open receivers. Like you shouldn't see things like that. So I would say within that first half, if you start to see the same old Mitch, go ahead and bring in Nick Foles, because you can't allow. Like, how do you go up to your team and say that we're going to still ride with this guy even though it's detrimental for the success of the year? How can you continue to go up to your team and say we're going to ride with this guy? How can you how can you stand in front of the media and say we're going to go with Mitch again? You can't. You're going to be run out of town.
But you can't, because you mentioned it as well. No preseason games. Preseason games get you warmed up. More preseason games, period, will get your timing down. Okay, in game-like situations, because you're actually playing games, it's not practice. So if he has one, obviously the first thing they're going to do is say, "Hey, listen, the lack of OTAs and preseason games really affected our quarterback. He's still our quarterback, so he got some time, and he didn't even buy time. It was just given to him due to the pandemic and the cancellation of OTAs and involuntary workouts. So, Mitch, what if Mitch isn't the only quarterback? Look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson struggled yesterday to the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. He struggled his whole, like I said, the first pass to Will Fuller. Will Fuller dropped. He jumped passes to David Johnson, I think, the running back, and it would have been a nice catch, but a catch you should have made. It's dropped. Should have been a better ball. So if you're having quarterbacks, and even Patrick Mahomes didn't play great. He only had 211 yards. Mm-hmm. So if these guys are having a bad opening day because of the lack of OTAs and preseason games, what do you expect Mitch to be? Mitch ain't going to come out, 25 or 29 for 325 and 3 tutties and no picks. If he does, oh my God, que milagro. But I don't think that's going to happen. Right. And I don't think so.
Well, first thing is the Texans defense is absolute trash. And second, the way that they're using Deshaun Watson is just – it's embarrassing. I mean, Bill O'Brien should have been fired 2 years ago. Like I don't know what he's doing. I think he's going to ruin Deshaun Watson. I'm scared that he's going to ruin Deshaun Watson as a player. I think Deshaun's going to be going out there, taking shot after shot after shot, getting no help from his coach, no help from his front office. I think Deshaun Watson – I think that 4-year contract – I think that 4-year contract is really a 2-year contract if you think about it, because I think he's going to want to trade after year 1.
I don't know. I don't know if he want one after year one, but
maybe year two. It's already been bad. Like, I know you went to the playoffs, but there's been your team has consistently gotten worse. You get rid of your top playmaker out of spite. He got rid of him out of spite.
Did you see the tweet that DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh, I did not.
Hold on, let me find it. He said something like fortunate, and that's all he put was just fortunate.
Yep.
Because he didn't want to be.
He got the hell up out of there, dude. He would have been strung out. He would have been one of those guys that they gave if they re-signed him, he'd have been there. The team would have never won. The team would have never gotten back. Probably might not even get back to the playoffs for another couple years. And DeAndre Hopkins would have been wasted. His talent would have been. Yeah,
that's what it was. That's grateful. What his tweet. Great. He tweeted out, grateful.
Good. I'd be grateful to get the hell up out of there too.
You know, you trade your number one receiver. That doesn't matter. But let's go to the defense, though, bro. My question is, our two pass rushers. You know, our two pass rushers. You know, Robert Quinn hasn't practiced. Okay, Khalil Mack, I mentioned earlier, he's got a knee. You know, we got a knee.
Got a knee.
In memory of Wanstead, we got a knee right there, and that's not good, dude. Because I'm expecting 5 or 6 meetings at the quarterback every game, and you got not just one but 2 of those guys out. And if you do that, I don't care who you got back at quarterback. If you don't rush the passer, if you're playing a quarterback in the NFL, chances are, unless your name is Mr. Trubisky, you're going to be able to pick people apart. I'm really concerned about this injury, these injuries that are putting these guys on the injured list or an injury report, and maybe holding them out or keeping them at 60-70%, even if they do get out there.
I think there's nothing wrong with Quinn or Mack. I think that they're on an injury report probably for some gamesmanship. Because the Lions' offensive line is their strength. Like they have a strong offensive line. It's not garbage by any means. And the matchup with our D line against their so strength versus strength. That's what you get with the D line against the O line. With the Bears D line going up against the Lions' offensive line, it's going to be. It'll be tough, but like I said, I don't think that Mack and Quinn are hurt. I think it's just gamesmanship. Maybe they got a little boo boo. And Matt was just like, all right, you're out today. All right, we got to put you on the injury report. Just to save face, just for. You
got a broken leg, but you'll recover by game day.
Exactly, right. You'll be. Oh wow, a miraculous recovery. But yeah, I think they're both fine. I think they're okay. My thing is that, dude, nobody who could really stop those two, and who and if we're really thinking about it. You got a running game in Detroit that's looking to actually take another step. You got a Kerryon Johnson. You just signed a veteran Adrian Peterson, and you drafted a DeAndre Swift. Like that doesn't sound too bad. Even with an aging Adrian Peterson, that doesn't sound too bad of a
bad at all.
But I don't know if teams are going to be able to consistently find 100 yards against the Bears. I don't know if they might. I don't know if they're going to find it within the first couple of weeks.
See, my only issue is that the Bears, if I'm not mistaken, they were fortunate last year and they didn't get to play. Stafford didn't play against the Bears due to injury. Stafford, before he was injured, my man, he was throwing that ball all over the field, man. He was having some games, and the Bears lucked out by not having to face him. Again, I hope he has the same issues that some of the other quarterbacks are going to have, and that's just rustiness. Rust because of the fact that there were no OTAs and a chance for them to develop that chemistry. Even though he may have some of the same receivers, every year is different. So hopefully that affects him, and that's why if it doesn't affect him, or if we don't have Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, and we give this guy time, it's only a matter of time. It may not be clicking in the first quarter. Maybe not the second quarter, but the second half he'll start clicking, and that's going to spell the end for us. And I'm really concerned because we didn't face him last year, and he looked pretty darn good last year in all the games that he didn't play against us.
Yeah, no doubt. Like it's scary. And Matt Stafford ties into what I was going to bring up next is TJ Hawkinson, his tight end. TJ Hawkinson against our linebackers and Roquan, Danny Trevathan, Khalil. It's gonna be fun. Like I think the Bears are gonna fare well against Matt. I think Matt's gonna get his, but I think they're gonna fare well. It's as long as you're able to on the outside, hold your own with the receivers. I think you could go ahead and start keying in on a tight end. But if you're getting beat up on the outside and the running game's just tearing you up, I think that tight end needs to be highlighted a lot more because TJ Hawkinson I think his first game or something like within the first month last year, he had a game where he had like 3 touchdowns and like 188 yards or something like that. Some type of ridiculous, coming out party.
Uh-huh.
But that's just how dangerous he is, and I hope that the Bears linebackers and safeties are prepared for a guy like TJ Hawkinson and prepared for a guy like TJ Hawkinson getting the ball thrown to him by a guy with the caliber of like Matt Stafford.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of questions on this offense, tons of questions on the offense. There's a few questions on this defense. And there's a lot of questions surrounding the head coach. So I'm not feeling good about this at all. But you know what I am feeling good about? I want you to talk about for the last, 8 minutes or so before we got to go to break, or 11 minutes, excuse me, the new show that you're going to be on.
Yeah, new show
in Chicago.
Yeah, new show on SportsZone Chicago. The barely pregame show. Bears pregame with me and my co-host Michael Halatek from Halatek Hall. You can check that out on SportsZone Chicago as well. Sunday at 10:30, we're going to be, breaking down Bears pregame, just hanging out. And then it'll actually roll into another show that I'll be doing, the Basement Monsters Game Day podcast, which will be after that at 11:30. But 10:30, the barely pregame show kicks off its inaugural episode.
It's going to be pretty good. Michael Halatek is our Chicago Bears historian. And I know we've been talking about getting a pregame show together, and both of you guys, and it made sense. Both of you guys wanted to get involved in that. So we're like, hey, let's do it. Let's get them involved. Let's get some pregame coverage going. And that's for people on the go. People who are traveling or driving and they can't listen or watch. They can listen to us, and it's going to be. I'm excited about it. We're going to get good coverage with Bears coverage, and I know you're going to be a little more national coverage after the Bears game, but it's going to be something that I'm looking forward to. It should be a pretty good show. Another good show added to the lineup of good shows that we already have. With Shawn and Maya in the morning, with Sports 101, with Jamar Harp, with the Smoke Fellas and the Humidor podcast, with What's Up Cuz, with our next guest and his cousin Lance C. Irvin. Those shows are doing really, really well. We're happy, and we're looking to add more, and we're going to make sure, and hopefully this one is another one of that caliber. It's going to be fun. You guys get to sit and talk Bears pregame, and it's going to be it should be exciting. Oh yeah, and I know my wife's going to love it because I don't have to talk Bears while she's over there. I don't give a crap looking me. You know what I mean? Why do I care about this? I don't care who's starting right now. What do you mean injury report? What's that? No, I gotta feed the baby when you're talking about injury reports. I'll give you an injury report. But yeah, 10:30 on Sunday. Check us out. We'll be talking Bears, all good stuff. Me and Michael Halatek. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna bring our guy in a little early, because he's gonna sit in with us for the last hour, and he is one of the co-hosts of one of the hottest news shows on SportsZone Chicago, and that's What Up Cuz, with his cousin Lance C. Irvin. You can find our friend on Twitter at Jay Coyden. That's JayCoyden at Jay Coyden. Man, let's bring in our boy, our good friend Jason Palmer. Jason, what's up, Papa?
What's up, fellas? Happy Friday to you.
What's up, Jason?
It's all about you, baby. All about you. I got a chance to see my boys win last night, so definitely happy. I talked to Shawn last night, man. I was watching everything. I was watching Serena Williams lose. I was watching Vegas and Dallas and hockey. I was watching the Miami UAB game. I was watching Kansas City and Houston. So I didn't talk to my wife for about 4 hours. And she was happier for it. Right. She made tacos too, so she hooked me up. Taco Thursday.
See, here's the thing is I tell women like we're very simple creatures. We're very simple creatures. Give us our sports, our friends, give us our adult time, and that's pretty much all the three things we want.
Yeah.
Give us our sports. Some women would fight on Sunday like you can't fuss with us on Sunday. So here's what you do, okay?
Right.
You go, you make us some food, okay? Say, hey, you know what? Why don't you have the guys over? You come have the guys over. You make them some food, and you know what? I'm out shopping. That is probably the one time that we will not say, you know what, dude, you better not go shopping. You're like, oh, you're leaving? Okay, fine.
Right.
Fine, let's go. Because I got the guys, I got food, I got football. You're out with your girls at bottomless mimosas before you go shopping. Fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage. Hey, we got games all day, so you're pretty much good all day. We got games till 10 o'clock at night, so you come back whenever you're ready.
Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Without a doubt.
We will not argue as far as what you spent, how much you spent, where you were. Okay, because I like having the guys over. I like having food. I like it, and I like not having you nag me. Okay, it's a match made in heaven, and smart women, they're like, oh yeah, and the guys, I'll cook, I'll order pizza, I'll cook for you. I'm out, me and the girls.
Right.
It's a spa day.
And I do the same thing for her, when she's in her 90-day fiance or whatever, show she watch. I get out of her way, let her do her thing, I'll hook her up with dinner and leave her alone. So, it's a mutual respect we got.
Yeah, see, you play off each other. That's what it's all about there, man.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. Well, man, let's talk about this White Sox a little bit, baby. We're talking about this White Sox. They had a day off yesterday. I had 2 days off this week, Tuesday and Thursday. No, Monday and Thursday because they had Tuesday, Wednesday. And now there's a sprint. Now there's a sprint. 17 games. The magic number is 12. Give me your thoughts on the good guys.
Well, I think they'll get a rain out in there somewhere. I don't think you can go 17 days and get that lucky this time of the year without getting some rain in there. So I think they will get an off day. But the problem is they're going to have to make that game up as a doubleheader at some point. But I do think there will be an off day in there. Of course, the Dallas Keuchel news is very disheartening. The starting pitching has already been our concern with this team. And we get Ray Lopez back. Woohoo! It's not a good thing. I mean, we said this when all these sports came back, that the teams that were going to win these championships were going to be the teams that could stay healthy, and it would be hard for a team to stay healthy due to the lack of training that the guys have had. And we're starting to also see it with our WNBA team, the Chicago Sky. They lost 2 of their players to injury, and they've lost like 6 in a row. So I mean, it's across all sports mediums right now. It's hitting the White Sox right now. It doesn't sound like the Keuchel injury is too serious, thank God, and that he will be back. And I'm actually good if he has to be shut down for the entire regular season as long as he can pitch in the playoffs, because, they're going to make the playoffs at this point. I do want them to win the division, but the key is to have that pitching staff ready for the playoffs. And, we may even get Luis Garcia back for the playoffs. So we'll see, man. It's going to be rough. I think I was more upset with Nick Madrigal and his Forrest Gump base running style. I know he's a rookie with some stuff. Come on, man, slow down.
Dude, there's no excuse for being a rookie. You played college baseball. You played high school baseball. You played Babe Ruth, and Little League baseball. You played baseball your whole life, dude. He's 22. You've probably been playing it since you were 5. So you're talking 16 to 18 years you've been playing organized baseball. You know damn well not to run through a stop sign. All right. When the third base coach tells you to stop, you fixate your eyes on a third base coach when you're on second or you're coming around third, and you watch him. You watch him the whole time, because sometimes it could change. He'll tell you to go, then stop, and you got. So there's no reason that your eyes aren't on him. And then the ground ball to the left side of the field. Like, come on, man, you got to make sure. I mean, he had a big lead. It was hit behind him, but you just got to get back to that base. That was a tough one, but it's still because it's still. So my concern is Keuchel. All right, we were talking, about it now. Is maybe they're being coy. Okay, maybe he'll be okay, but then they're trying to line him up with Minnesota because he's on a 10-day injured list. So he'll come back Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, right around the time we play the Twins. So he's in that series. It's possible. I don't put anything past things because those are the games we need.
Yep.
In those division games, those are the ones you really, really need, and you're going to want your full your full weaponry, on the mound. Give me your thoughts on Dane Dunning, man. 2 of his 4 starts, he's throwing shutout baseball. They refuse to let him go. I mean, he went 6 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But let this guy go 7, man. Let him go 7. It's I think it's because here's the thing. And I understand that, Milwaukee, how they did it and got to went deep into playoffs. But if you got a starter who's dealing, like when they took him out, Dane Dunning, didn't he only have like 79 pitches?
Yeah, 79 pitches.
Dude, what are you doing? This guy's rolling.
Yeah.
79 pitches. This guy's rolling.
Yeah, I think that's something that Ricky struggles with how he manages his bullpen. Even bringing in Jimmy Cordero that gets the loss. It's like, dude, you overworking this dude, man. You got to. I understand guys have roles in the bullpen, but there's also an attrition factor you got to take into account here. And go ahead and let the guy pitch, man. Bottom line, you should have been tied with Pittsburgh. No way. You shouldn't even been in that situation. So put some pressure on your team and tell them, hey, we should be destroying these guys and let them go out there and pitch. But I think Dane Dunning has been a big surprise, though. All this aside, I think he's been a definitely a gem the White Sox seem to have found, which is a really good thing. I think, give props to the scouting department and Dane Dunning from working back from Tommy John surgery. They're going to need it. The White Sox are going to need pitching, not just this year, but next year. I think this team's offense is set. Next year you're not going to have Encarnacion more than likely. I am disappointed that they have not played Zach Collins this year. I personally would have played Zach Collins over Encarnacion, but that's just me. We'll see what they do with Collins in the offseason. But I think he's another one of their young talented players. And we all had concerns that they didn't make a trade at the deadline for another pitcher. So Dane Dunning definitely is going to have to work. Dylan Cease is going to have to be able to get past his one bad inning, and the manager is going to have to allow him to get through that. And you get that, you get Dunning, you get Cease, you get Keuchel, you get Giolito. You got
Kopech back. Don't forget him.
Yeah, you'll have Kopech back next year. And is Rodon's contract is up after this year, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I mean, I
be in the bullpen
guy. Yeah,
right. And I mean, we had discussed that even before the season, back in February. I was telling you, I think Rodon would be a great guy for the bullpen because he just gets hurt. So I think he's a bullpen guy. I think Ray Lopez is a bullpen guy, and I think putting those guys in different positions, you could see a completely different player. You got a lefty like Rodon coming out the bullpen with that slider. That's rough, man. Ray Lopez, we know he's got good stuff for an inning or two. I just don't think the young man is a starter, and I think the White Sox have to come to that realization.
Yeah, so Rodon's he's under contract this year for 4.5. Well, obviously prorated. But 21, he's up for arbitration. So we were able to hold on to him then. And 22, he's an unrestricted free agent. So
okay.
I think it'd be wise to sign him and to say, hey, you're a middle guy. If a guy gets roughed up early, then you come in.
Gio Gonzalez going forward.
Yeah. You're going to pitch no more than 3. I shouldn't say no more, because if we need you to go 3+ innings or maybe 4, if a guy gets roughed up, then you're going to have to do it. So you're basically going to be like a starter, but just a limited amount of time. And like you said, his slider is when he's on. That's one of the most difficult pitches to hit in Major League Baseball. So, and then we're not asking him to ramp it up for 6-7 innings. Now it's only 2 or 3. So yep. I think it's something he could do. I'm worried about Cease, and here's why. I don't like his follow through. He's off balance a lot. Okay. And he doesn't fully finish through. He'll stop, and you see him on the mound, usually on one leg, kind of leaning to the side as opposed to coming forward Okay, so when you throw the ball, that ball's got to come. Your weight's got to be behind that ball, and you end up going forward. He throws it, and he's kind of still standing tall, leaning to the left. Leaning to the left is not a problem, but I want him stepping forward, and I think that's what he's been having a lot of balls that are high out of the strike zone lately, and I think that's part of it. And I think Coop's got to reel him back in and be like, hey, listen, I need you to follow through a little more just to make sure that you don't get hurt. But two, your pitches are the most effective that they can be. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we got more sports conversation with our guy, Jason Palmer, sitting in right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NFL season kicked off last night with Kansas City beating Houston 34-20 in front of a crowd of about 17,000 socially distanced inside Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill also caught touchdown passes for the Chiefs. They've won 10 straight dating back to last season. That run includes a come-from-behind 51-31 win over the Texans in the divisional round of the playoffs. Texans QB Deshaun Watson tossed a touchdown pass and ran for another score, but he was also under relentless pressure and was picked off once. David Johnson had the biggest bright spot for the Texans, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago, as we're joined by Jason Palmer, as he got the email, the text message to wear our orange shirts. So we're twinning today. One of the things I wanted to ask you, I know we were talking, we're switching gears, we were talking a little baseball, but one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because you are an official here in the state of Illinois, and I wanted to get your take. The state of Illinois has allowed, IHSA has allowed the teams to practice now in the fall for football. In many schools, my alma mater being one of them, and all the others, many of the other schools are practicing, and CPS has nixed that. They have decided to not let schools practice. Give me your thoughts on that. How bad, first of all, why do you think that is? And how bad is that going to be for these kids in the spring?
Well, I think, you have to look at this as the state of Illinois, and a lot of people don't realize just how large geographically the state of Illinois is. You also have to understand the political dynamics of Illinois, and that northern Illinois, Chicago, and its collar counties are basically Democratic. The rest of Illinois is Republican. And as we've seen with this virus, the virus has become politicized. So people in more Republican areas tend to be more liberal with their COVID-19 practices, as opposed to people in Democratic regions where they're more conservative about it. I think you also have to understand that the Chicago area, just in terms of population, is more dense than rural Illinois. So the chances of you contracting COVID because there are more people here. It's going to be in these more densely populated areas. So I think the city of Chicago, the other point is that CPS also, does CPS have the financial means and the resources to allow these student athletes and the coaches to practice using the best safety protocols given COVID? I know they don't. You've worked in CPS, you know how it is. We got school teachers buying their own supplies, for Christ's sake. People bringing in their own toilet tissue in some schools. So, I think that has more to do with it than anything else. It's just the resources Chicago doesn't have. And then again, it's millions of people here. So it's from a competitive standpoint. Yeah, I get it. It's going to be a disadvantage for CPS student athletes. But, my bottom line is I want the kids and I want the coaches and I want the officials all safe. I don't know what the referees are going to actually do. Once again, no one ever talks to us and asks our opinion until after the fact when they say, hey, we don't have enough referees for this game. Yeah, you should have probably called somebody. So, and funny story, Shawn, I got some assignments a few days ago from my college volleyball assigner for some men's matches in January, February, and March. And, I declined them still. I just don't, and those are college matches, but I'm still not feeling safe enough to put myself on the line, and I don't need to do so financially. So I'm going to be sitting out until this thing is probably pretty much licked because it's just too many unknowns. And, even though those are college matches, when we look at the COVID numbers, they're spiking on all the college campuses because the kids out kicking it and having parties and, so, I think everybody's got to make their own decision with it, and I'm cool with it. But I do understand that the pressure the IHSA is also under from some of these downstate and rural areas to get sports up and going. And then I also understand where, Mayor Lightfoot and people in the more densely populated areas are coming from.
There was I'm trying to remember the numbers of all the games because there's only a few states that are not playing fall football, high school, and then you got the three of the Power Five conferences are going to playing football as well, and the numbers really weren't staggering after the first week of high school football in some of the other states, and I'm thinking, first of all, I'm okay with it. I get it. If you want to make the decision, you want to err on the side of caution, fine. Okay, cool. But how do we look bad when all the other when everyone the COVID cases are low, and if at all, you still got the Big Ten, you got politicians now writing to the Big Ten president saying, please reconsider. You got the parents from Ohio State saying, please play the schedule. Were we just overcautious? Is that possible?
I don't think so. I think one thing we have to understand is there's a 14-day incubation period. So we actually can't look at any of these numbers right now from a scientific standpoint and say, oh, okay, it's okay to do so. I would say give it a good 2, probably even 3 weeks from now. And then let's have this discussion. Let's take a look at these numbers from around the state. Let's see kind of what happens then. I think that'll give us a better barometer. I do think the scientists who are working very hard to come up with a vaccine, they're making progress. They're learning more about the virus, how it spreads. So I think we get more education every day on the virus to help us make these decisions. But I don't think it makes Chicago or anyone else look bad if they say, hey, I'm going to play it safe right now. I think everyone has a right to do what they want to do. Some people choose to be somewhat guinea pigs and are more adventurous and have the expeditionist kind of, mentality. And I'm cool with that. Because just think about just the vaccine itself, Shawn, which I think is hilarious. They've had these news stories and they say, well, when we come up with a vaccine, we're going to need to try this out on people. And people are like, no, I don't want to be first. And so they actually have done a story because they said they're having trouble finding Hispanic people and Black people who are willing to come in and, take the test vaccine. They were like, the numbers are, abysmal in those two communities, but you have to look at the history of what has happened to those two groups.
Tuskegee experiment.
There you go. So I mean, you're asking us to do something. Nobody's trusting the government or medical science right now. So I just think this whole thing is just going to be interesting. And once they get a vaccine, it's going to be great. But I don't know how they can do it without getting enough subjects willing to volunteer. I think eventually they'll get enough brave souls to do it. But I personally only know of one person who said, I'll take it back, two people, two of them, both black females, who said they would be willing to put themselves on the line for science and the race. And I said, hey, go, more power to you, sister.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Tuskegee experiment, that was a 40-year experiment. Yeah, I think you have enough time. That's more than enough time to get all the data you need. So,
right.
So pardon people of color if they're like, no thanks. So pardon our apprehension there, okay?
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay them. I know how to do it, but you're gonna have to pay people.
Oh, and it'll all of a sudden that money will come up somewhere somehow. It'll come up. It'll come up somewhere, and you're like, oh wow, okay, so we're gonna get $300, $500 or something to do it, and then you're gonna have a whole bunch of people run to do it. So
right.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, that's going to be something crazy. Hey, guys, we're talking with Jason Palmer right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Let's get to it, Baba. Let's get to it. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I'm decked out in my Bears gear. I love I'm a glutton for punishment. So talk to me. What do you think, man? The two stud pass rushers are out or are on the injury report. So you got Robert Quinn, who hasn't practiced at all. You got Khalil Mack with a knee. He was limited yesterday. What happens if those guys aren't at 100%?
Bears are going to lose. That's what's going to happen. First of all, congratulations to Ivan. I will definitely be listening to his show Sunday morning. The Bears, I've already had suspicions going into the season about the offensive line and with our quarterback situation. Here we go with injuries already before the first game. And they ain't even had a preseason game to get injured in. So, those two don't play, they're going to lose. And I know Detroit is Detroit, but they're going to lose. I'm not really fired up yet about NFL football. It's just I think the lack of preseason just has me so far behind, and I've been watching so many other sports. But Sunday I will be here with my buddy Chuck. He's coming up. I'm going to grill some steaks. We're going to watch the game. I don't even know what to expect, Shawn. I'm just going into the game like not expecting anything because of the situations. I'm concerned about the running games. Who's going to actually run the ball? That's another injury situation we have going on. Who's going to kick the ball? We don't even have our kicker, and now we got people injured on defense. So I'm interested to see the game, but I just don't have that enthusiasm because I know they're going out there without their main weapons, and it's very concerning.
In practice, that's my question. Like, how are you getting injured? Like, playing with the Chicago Chargers and Chicago Thunder for so long, I don't recall very many people. If there had to have been, but I just can't recall guys who got hurt at practice.
Yeah.
If it was a scrimmage, or another team came over and we scrimmaged them, or even if it was an intra squad scrimmage where we ran live our offense versus our defense. Offense usually won all the time because I was on the part of the offenses, but that's another story. But like even then, I'm like, I don't recall a lot of people getting injured. These guys are getting injured. You're not even hitting. You can only hit for like 7 plays for the week, and then that's it, according to the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. Like,
right?
What the hell are you doing up there? I don't get it. It's freaking me out.
Well, you know what, Shawn? Well, I mean, Dan Hampton said a couple of years ago when they did that new CBA, he was like, I think them not hitting during training camp and practice is actually going to lead to more injuries because I don't believe people can practice their techniques and get used to the game. So he said that a couple of years ago, and I know a lot of the old school players said, I don't know what your philosophy, kind of is on that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I believe you me. I would tailor it back or tone it down just a little. But man, when I was at Curie and Bogan, no, we hit. You got to hit. You have to get used to hitting. You can't just thud, because a running back in a game is not going to let you. You're not going to thud a running back, okay? And you need to be able to tackle running backs, all shapes, sizes, speeds, heights, weights. You have to be able to tackle them, and you need to be able to. You got to have that type of practice. So if you're not going to do it in the game, in practice, then you better have some preseason games where you can amp it up a little bit and you can get live action. Well, that got taken away as well. So I'm concerned as well. I really am. I think that they've gotten so overprotective, and you have to look at it from their standpoint because it's a business. Do you want but my thing is now these guys are still getting hurt. Okay, you know what, the quarterback's getting hurt. You don't want but we got the guy who was the highest paid player in defensive player in the league, until what's his name in St. Louis overtook him, and Khalil Mack, he's hurt. Like, what did he do? Robert Quinn, what are they doing in practice? You're not hitting them. And so it's frustrating to have these guys not ready to go, not 100% week one, because depending on what the issue is, that could linger all year.
Is this an indictment on the Bears training staff and their weight training? Is it something they're doing?
I would love to. Yes, I would say that, especially if it's soft tissue injuries. Okay, remember with Lovey, he didn't have any soft tissue injuries. All right, because what they did, and this is one of the things that Rusty Jones was the strength conditioning coach for a long time under Lovey. And the one thing when Lovey came in, he says, I want my guys to run. My guys need to run. So he didn't need the 260-pound, although Urlacher was that big, but he was still able to run. Even before he was making dumb tweets, but that's another story. These guys were able to run. So you trained like, you stretched, you did a lot of running. And so that helped to prepare you for the season. And that's the same thing I did with all of my kids, all the teams that I had in strength and conditioning. And then we'd run after practice, like we're running, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I don't know how much running they do. All right. I don't know how much running they do. So when your body's not used to running, all of a sudden you're taking off and you're spurting, and you have 3 or 5 plays or 10 plays that you're going, and all of a sudden you amp it up a little. Your body's like, whoa. I'm not used to it. It can have an adverse effect on one of your joints, on one of your ligaments, on one of your tendons, on one of your muscles. And now you're screwed. And now it's lingering. So part of it is because they've gone back to these practices where they're trying not to get these guys injured. It could be having the reverse effect and making them soft and having them injured. But you also have to make sure. I like to see what the strength and conditioning coaches are doing. What are they doing before practice? How are they warming up? What are they doing after practice? How are they cooling down? All right, people think you just after a workout you got to stretch. Yeah, practice is a workout, so you got to stretch those muscles which were taxed, which were used. Now you got to relax them and stretch them. What are they doing post practice? And getting these guys recovering immediately after practice is over. And from that, I have to see that, because there just seems to be too many soft tissue injuries, or joint injuries, knees or ankles, and that's the same thing. Those tendons, you're not used to that hitting. You're not used to doing it. You got to get with football. You have to practice at a certain speed because the game is so different. So if you can practice as close to game speed as possible, you'll have less injuries. But now that they're practicing at it's half speed, I don't know, bro.
I mean, when your place kicker is getting hurt in practice, I mean, that's telling you something. I mean, is there something that's going on with their training programs, or the players are not following the training programs that have been put in place? I'm not sure. I mean, what did you think of the game last night? I was like, well, these first 3-4 weeks of the season, I'm expecting a whole lot of sloppy play. I'm expecting penalties all over the place. Now, granted, it's Kansas City, so they're a top team, so they still do their thing. But this first week of the season, man, oh my God, I'm afraid to see what's going to happen. I'm getting the first week of NFL Red Zone for free as a part of my YouTube TV package, so I'm gonna use it to kind of see everything that's going on. But Shawn, I'm expecting the referees to be terrible. because they haven't had any working live game action.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm expecting a lot of missed calls. I'm expecting players to get injured. So maybe that's why I'm not as excited yet, but I'm happy to see him back. But, I'm not sure what I'm getting ready to see on Sunday at noon.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. Is refs need practice too. Refs need the game speed as well. You can't just go call practices, which they do a lot. They'll hire refs and they'll come and they'll training camp and do that. But it's still not the same. It's not the same as a game. That's a controlled environment.
Yeah,
and
you know what I get to learn most when I do those games, when we get to do the preseason games, Shawn? The thing I learned most as a referee, whether I was doing basketball or volleyball, whatever, you get to learn the players and their tendencies too.
Right.
So these NFL officials, they're definitely, you got rookies coming into the leagues, you got free agents switching to other teams, you got players who developed, and the referees notice that type of stuff. When you officiate, notice, so I can look out for that. Well, they're basically coming in now with no info.
Yeah, like having a recon, so what these players, what they like to do in their tendencies, like you said, and is this legal? Is this not illegal? And yeah, it makes sense because I'm sure you guys go and watch tape like on some of the calls that were made, and the good calls and bad calls, and just like we do, we watch film as well. So now they don't have any tape on themselves to going into the season. So it's going to be the first week is definitely going to be a week of interesting calls. That's for sure. Yeah, because we see what's happening in baseball. Like some of these strike zones are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's so bad the guys aren't even arguing. They're like just walking away. Like you see the pitch zone and the balls, the lines here and the balls out here, and like how and the catcher doesn't even bring it back. He just holds it out there like strike.
Well, and I mean they're going to bring the electronic strike zone into Major League Baseball. The plan was to use it all during the minor leagues this year. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but they were going to use it in the minor leagues this whole season. Experimented again in the preseason games next year. Right, and then maybe start bringing them in 2021 or 2022, that electronic strike zone. So I do think it is eventually coming to Major League Baseball over the next couple of years. There still will be an umpire back there because sometimes the thing messes up because one guy bounced the ball in and it was like, strike. And the guy was like, what? And the umpire like, no, it's a ball, it's a ball. So, I mean, it's still going to be, that type of issue. But, it's good. Right. Right. So, I mean, it's going to be some fun stuff going on here, in the next few years, just the innovation with sports and some of the technology they bring in to help out the sports officials. But, I'm fired up, for the Bears, not sure what to expect from them, but, it's football Sunday in Chicago in the fall.
Yeah, it is, guys. We're talking with Jason Palmer. He's one of the co-hosts of What's Up, Cuz. Him and Lance C. Irvin, who actually are cousins. It's one of the hottest shows right here on Shawn on SportsZone Chicago. Just chewing the fat, talking a little Bears football right now. He's got his Canes uniform on. Is that for Jared? So Jared Payton season?
No, I love Jared. Jared is my guy. I was actually down at that game in the Orange Bowl when Jared won MVP of that Orange Bowl game when they won. So that was actually a great experience. This is actually Devin Hester's number when he was at the U. So this is my Hester jersey. So, and actually on our show Monday, you'll love this, Shawn. So we're doing kind of like a Thornridge show. And we got two big names joining us from Thornton. Melvin Eli is going to join our show.
Kentucky?
Fresno State.
Fresno State
played with Nick, actually. Yep. And representing Thornton for football, he's also a state representative from the South Suburb. Napoleon Harris is going to join us. So we got Napoleon coming on. He's going to talk, and he's going to talk a little bit of Bears too, but they're going to talk about their experiences growing up and playing Thornton versus Thornridge. And from Thornridge, we've got Townsend Orr joining us to represent basketball, and former Jacksonville Jaguar and Denver Broncos player representing Thornridge is Reggie Hayward. Reggie Hayward's coming on. So big show coming up for us on Monday.
We had Napoleon Harris on a year and a half ago. We were over in Oakland. Yeah, it's good stuff, dude. You guys, you still banging. Start off with a banging show, and you still got top-notch guests, and that's why you're one of the hottest. If not, I always say the hottest. I don't want to piss anyone off because I think your show is like the hottest. I think the smoke fellas are really hot as well.
Love them.
But you guys, when you bring them names, man, I mean, the connections that you guys have is priceless, dude. Priceless.
Yeah, great content on SportsZone Chicago, man. That's what we keep telling everybody, man. Check out all our shows. And like I say, I'm watching. I'm gonna be watching Ivan's show, Sunday morning at 10:30. I'm gonna have my laptop down there by the grill. I'm gonna be grilling my steaks. I'm doing some Italian sausages, some steaks, and some burgers. So I'm gonna hook it up. And then I heard your boy grilling in Gurnee. I'm like, Shawn, might as well come up and see me. I'm 10 minutes from Gurnee. You might as well come up to Wisconsin.
Man, see, my man, she pulled an executive order on his ass, dude. So we planned this two weeks ago. It was actually 3 weeks ago. Because they were like he couldn't do it that week. He's like, all right, what's next week? No, next week's Labor Day. Okay, then how about the following week? Yeah, cool. Following. He goes, all right, we'll come down. We'll have some wings that I'll put and watch the game because they just had their first child together. So they were gonna bring AJ and I was like, all right, cool. And I get a text, and she's like, yeah, well, he didn't check with me first, so and my family's coming over, so. And I'm like, I can't make it up there because I have somewhere to be like after the game. I'm like, dude, I said I can't drive the Gurnee and then come all the way back. Because if I'm with him, I'm gonna have a few and then drive him back from Gurnee. I don't want to take that. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
and depending on the way the Bears play, you probably gonna have to have a few more.
So it was like I could just see the argument. He's like, man, you tell him then because we made plans 2 weeks ago. She goes, I'll tell him. Boricua, she's Puerto Rican, so she's like, I'll tell him. Hold on, I ain't got no problem telling him. He can't go. He can't go. I was like, oh man. I'm like, all right. So I was like, well, I guess anyone want to meet me down in the city this weekend?
Right. Well, what, Shawn, I think that is the thing, with football being back that I am going to, enjoy. The people are, trying to get together, even if it's just small gatherings with just a friend or two, if they're going to do that. It brings people together. We got a lot going on in the country right now. So, for those few hours or, maybe all day Sunday, everybody can kind of relax a little bit and chill. But, I heard what you all were saying earlier in the show. I was disappointed what I saw in the Kansas City fans where the teams are out there trying to lock and show unity. And then you got some knuckleheads in the fans. How I would have handled that situation if I was the owner of that Kansas City franchise. I literally would have probably just kicked everybody out and gave their money back. Just been like, okay, everybody leave. We'll continue without you and give everybody their money back. Because I think that would have sent a message to the rest of the league. I think because this is something that's going to be ongoing here. I didn't get a chance to hear Alicia Keys do the Black National Anthem, which is one thing I wanted to hear. Just see what is the reaction to that, especially since they're going to do it around the league on Sunday. And a lot of people don't know they're actually technically like eight verses to this song. So, black people know like the first verse, and then we start humming when you get to the second verse. But, I'm very interested to also see kind of how that works. Because I think that is going to for the true bigots of the world, that's just going to, get in their crawl even more. So, it's going to be real interesting first week. It's so much to look for, what's going to happen with the pregame and, the games themselves, the officials, what are they going to call? So this is going to be a very, it's going to be an interesting watch. I'll tell you that.
So, what's funny is before we go to break is, on Facebook, sometimes I'll indulge in the nonsense. And so one of the things I posted when Lovie Smith's son got arrested for pimping. It ain't easy. We had jokes on the show and and everything. And then one of the guys says, "Oh yeah, it's just a sign of bad parenting." And I looked at him and I said, the guy's 43 years old, dude. He's not 16. He's not 12. You know what I mean? He's a grown-ass man who makes his own decisions. And then I said, you know what? I was like, so according to your logic, then Andy Reid's son who died of an overdose as a result of bad parenting.
Right.
He didn't reply. I mean, according to your logic, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, never mind the guy's 43 years old and making his own decisions, but
he said that was his argument?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's just ignorant.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It really is. And that's why I said, so according to your logic, let's go. So go tell Andy Reid that he was a horrible father. Okay. And before he won the Super Bowl, he was a horrible coach. Okay. So just tell him that, that's why your son would need Andy Reid, because you're a horrible father, according to this guy's logic. Like, come on, dude. Just the ignorance of some people. It never ceases to amaze me. And I thought, sometimes we've seen so many things in this business and heard so many things, and people just continue to make me just shake my head and go, I thought I heard it all.
Right.
I thought I heard it all until that. I heard it all until that.
He was given at first, what's up, Jason? How are you?
What's up, Ivan? Congratulations on the show.
He was given every opportunity from his dad, from his dad, through coaching, through whatever, to not go the route of, hey man, better start pimping.
This hand is strong, baby. This hand is strong.
This ain't gonna work. Like, I mean, I can understand if you was like down and out. Like, if you came from a place like a place like that, but you were given every opportunity to succeed, and your family's in a light that is seen throughout the nation, and you decide to go pimp. I don't know. It's just. It don't make sense.
I'm wondering what Lovey said. Like, as a dad, like, do you realize how much you dragged our name through the mud?
Yeah.
Drag my name through the mud.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's because sometimes you want to be like, okay, I support my son and everything you do, but what the hell were you thinking? You had all the, you had money. You're an assistant coach, and granted, you weren't like the D coordinator. You're like I think it was a Nickelbacks coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're still making money. You're still making six figures, Papa. You're still making $100,000 at least. Right. Come on now, because they never receive those coaching salaries are never against the cap, so they're usually $300,000, $500,000. Hell, even if it's $80,000. Right. You coach your football. Come on, man.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that, and I felt bad for Lovey. Because I'm like, I know he was like, what in the world? Especially because he's a guy who's now coaching young men on the collegiate level. I mean, you just put him in a horrible position. I disowned my son after that nonsense.
Like, I'm thinking of calling a lawyer. You are out of the way.
Right.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Okay.
Right.
So, I won't even go say what I was going to say. Listen, we gotta take a break. It's the last break of the show, last break of the week, man. So guys, don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here, Shawn and Maya in the mornings, with Jason Palmer sitting in for my lovely co-host Maya and Kai right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NFL season kicked off last night with Kansas City beating Houston 34-20 in front of a crowd of about 17,000 socially distanced inside Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill also caught touchdown passes for the Chiefs. They've won 10 straight dating back to last season. That run includes a come-from-behind 51-31 win over the Texans in the divisional round of the playoffs. Texans QB Deshaun Watson tossed a touchdown pass and ran for another score, but he was also under relentless pressure and was picked off once. David Johnson had the biggest bright spot for the Texans, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago with our good friend Jason Palmer sitting in the last hour for my lovely co-host Maya Kai, and we were talking quite a variety of things.
Yeah, a lot going on, man.
How about them Bears, baby? Almost they missed it by that much. Tom Brady was said to have narrowed it down between the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we see where he chose. Wow. I'll tell you what, I honestly didn't think that Tom would come here. But some reports that we found out was it on Twitter, it was the guy in the NFL Network. Adam Schefter, I think it was. Okay. It was ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Okay.
And it was the Bears. There were three. But the Bears and the Bucs were the final two teams. What would Chicago have done if Tom Terrific came over here? Who else would have followed him? Was Gronk coming too? So that solves the tight end problem. You got Cole Kmet and Gronk.
That would have been very interesting. I'm actually interested to see how Brady just plays down there in Tampa Bay. He's got weapons though. He's got weapons. He got some serious weapons. So, we're going to see now, though, and I think this is the interesting dynamic. We'll see how much of this was Tom Brady and how much of this was Belichick. Because the thing about Belichick, man, he kind of knows when it's time to let somebody go. He's let go of future Hall of Famers and, people like, let this person go at this point. And he keep the train moving. So I'm gonna be very interested to see what Brady does, but he got some weapons, so I don't think he's gonna drop off a bit, man.
He's got not just Gronk, but he's got they kept the wide receiver, Mike Evans. They have, but they also kept the other guy, the tight end McDuffie from Alabama.
Yep.
They got a good running game. I tell you what, this could be the most talented offense he's played on, probably since, because that Randy Moss year when they lost to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Moss was definitely better than the receivers here, but it doesn't mean that these receivers are garbage. These receivers are good. We're talking Pro Bowl receivers. I think his whole the whole skill positions are this probably is the deepest skill position team he's been on. Because they always play with running backs that you didn't know, or an Edelman, or just guys like that who are try hard guys who make plays. Okay, but you got some ballers on this side, and their defense wasn't bad.
Right, I think he's going to make those players better, and I think those players are going to make him better. So I think it's going to be mutually beneficial for Tampa Bay. A lot of the experts are picking them to make it all the way to the Super Bowl against Kansas City. I'm not sure I can go that far, but in 2020, a wacky year has been, anybody could be, in the Super Bowl this year. We may have the Bears and the Raiders. It could be anybody in 2020. Again, it's gonna be about health. And that's why I'm so disappointed to hear that the Bears have so many God blessed injuries so early. I think the teams that can stay healthy are the ones that's going to have the advantage. I mean, I'll ask you this, Shawn. The thing we're going to see is that some stadiums are going to have no fans. Like the Bears, lights were like, yeah, ain't nobody going to be there. And then you have other places like in Jerry Jones, he's like, bring everybody. So, what is that going to do too? I think that's another interesting dynamic. You're a player. Did you enjoy playing in front of a big crowd or a small crowd?
I played in front of the largest crowd I ever played in front of was 50,000, 40,000, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
We played over at Army, 3 years. Yeah. So it wasn't 80,000, 100,000, you know. You definitely fed off. Well, we lost all 3 games, freshman, sophomore, senior year. My junior year, we didn't play Army, but you hear it, you feel it. You feel it. I'll tell you what, Jason, that was the last time I was ever intimidated on a football field.
Really?
It was my freshman year at Army.
And the Army shoots off that doggone cannon when they score too, don't
You shoot off the cannon. You got the cadets doing the push-ups, and dude, they kept scoring. And so I was on the kick. I played special teams. I was one of like 3 freshmen that traveled, and so you have to play special teams. So I'm a decent sized kid. I'm about 200, 195, 200, 5'11". And they put, back then they wanted speed. So, and since I was on the front line for the kickoff return, because they wanted us to get back and speed, and this one guy was about 6'1", maybe 225. And this sucker was lined up across from me. And that cannon, every time they scored, I'm like, damn it, I got to go against this dude again. Damn, I got to go against this dude again. Damn, I got to go against this dude again. They blew us out. I want to say it was like 42-7 or 14. Dude, that's 7 times, because, you have the opening kickoff and the second half kickoff. Dude, that's 7 times that I had to go against this dude. He was 6'1", like 2 1/4. He looked like a perfect, like a strong free safety who'll knock your block off. And dude, because we got to run back 15, 20 yards, then we stop, and then we turn around, and this dude has to stop. Dude. He's got a, if I'm running 20 yards, he got a 30-yard head start on me, dude. And he's 225 pounds. And I was a freshman, so he wasn't a freshman. He's a sophomore or junior or maybe senior, which means he's been in the weight room 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Man, dude, after that 4th one, I was just like, oh man. Oh man. I hit him in the stomach a couple times. I'm telling you, man, this dude was just too big, and I hit him in the stomach, and I made sure not to cut, because you can't hit below the waist on kicks. So I hit him in the stomach, and he got pissed one time, and then I went to hit him in the stomach again, and he got low, and he crunched me. I'll never forget when he crunched me. I just kicked my legs up and caught him, and he tripped over my legs. Watching that on film.
You slowed him down, Shawn.
Hey, mission accomplished. Okay, he didn't make the tackle. My guy did not make the tackle. Okay. Hey, when you grow up in the hood, and you gotta see, and by any means necessary, you gotta get it done. You get it done.
That's right. And that's why I really want to see these games. How these guys play without the crowd to feed off of that energy, and especially on the kickoffs. That's where you're probably feeling the most energy. Those kickoffs, the opening kickoffs. So it's going to be very interesting. Some of these games you're going to have the fans, some you're not. So just watching the game yesterday, you seem kind of eerie. Not hearing the fans really loud, and even watching my Miami Hurricanes. They had 13,000 people at their game, and that stadium holds 65,000. And the interesting was they didn't let any of the students come to the game, which I thought that was interesting if you're going to let people in, but they didn't let the students in.
Because they know schools they've been wilding out.
Right. They would not have been social distancing. So
you're wilding out since you got back, and you expect to go to stadiums.
Right. So I think that'd have been real interesting. What do you think right now? We're living in such a weird time, and Ivan, I want to hear his opinion on this too. We got everything going on at one time. Like every sport is literally going. There's hockey, there's basketball, there's college football, there's pro football, there's baseball, there's the U.S. Open and tennis. Everything is going. Like, how are you guys keeping? Like, how do you choose at this point? What are you guys going to watch? How are you going to prioritize your sports watching at this point?
Well, I think playoffs right now take precedent, but Sunday's NFL is king. So honestly, the Bears are all I'm really worried about. The Cubs. I'm concerned. It's just, to me, I'll accept the season I'll accept this baseball season. Whoever's a champion is a champion. It's just for me. It's just I can't. I want to say yeah, they're the champion truly, but it's like I need to see 162. That's just me. I need to see every team 162, and then we could talk about who's the best. But as far as other than that, other than the baseball playoffs and the Cubs, yeah, the Bears. Oh, that's priority. The Bulls aren't going anywhere right now, so maybe looking for the hoping to see who the next Bulls coach is. That's probably on the top of my list, but that'll be a while.
Right.
You know what? That's funny. Now I'm thinking. First of all, it's Bears. Bears all the way. All right. I love my White Sox. I love you. No, not on Sunday. Not on Sundays in the fall. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for me to be all up in White Sox business. Okay, not on Sundays.
We build up all that animosity with the Cubs and the Sox hatred, and we bring that together, and we hate the other team on Sundays.
That's right.
Yes.
That's true.
Remember, there was a billboard on 290 coming in right. So it would be technically west of First Avenue, right by the Burger King, if you know what I'm talking about, if you're familiar. So coming into the city, this was years ago, and this was the best and most apropos billboard I've ever seen. It said, "Baseball divides us, football unites us." Miller Lite. I'm like, no truer words could be spoken about the city of Chicago than that. You know, because me and I don't be at each other's throats. But we'll come to Bears, we're high fiving like son of a gun, boy.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
so what do you think? What do you think about this? Notre Dame's playing. So you got the Big 12 the Big 12 ACC and SEC going on. Big 12 has had a couple of games postponed. The Oklahoma State Tulsa game, the SMU game, TCU SMU game has been postponed due to COVID stuff. But tomorrow Notre Dame takes on Duke, 1:00 down I-80 at Rockne Stadium. Is it Rockne Stadium or Notre Dame Stadium? Notre Dame Stadium. So give me your thoughts on that, and what happens, Jay, if someone week 3 or 4 gets COVID? What happens, God unwilling, if someone gets real sick and dies, and now you're like, oh well, that's why we wanted to hold off.
Right. Well, I think it's interesting, especially with Notre Dame, because the stories came out about Notre Dame literally the week the student went back. Yes. They had COVID cases going bananas at Notre Dame, and I was like,
19 kids came out with Notre Dame.
Right. So Notre Dame, I was very surprised because they're not affiliated with a conference for football.
Right.
They are truly independent. So I thought, their decision was very interesting. They're the only school that's still independent in D1 football. So I know they want their money. One thing I know about the Catholics, man, they want their money.
Yes, they do.
So
you pay me.
they want their money, praise Sister Mary. So they're going to get their money. And so it's very interesting to see what they do. But I know a lot of the teams that Notre Dame usually schedules, are in conferences where they're not playing. So, there's no Michigan Notre Dame game this year. So they're going to miss that big rivalry game. Are they playing Boston College? Is Boston College playing?
I think they're strictly ACC this year. I think they're following the ACC schedule.
Okay, got you. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what Notre Dame does. For the last few years, Notre Dame has kind of teased their fan base with, making is it seem good enough for a national championship run, and then they'll get close and then they'll stumble. They'll get close and then they'll stumble, or they'll be way off. So, I don't know how Lyman was saying earlier he needs 162 for a real baseball champion. I don't know how we gonna do this with college football because you got teams they ain't playing. Like, there's no bowl playoff system? What are we gonna do here with college football? Are we just gonna each conference gonna crown their champion? We call it a day. It's gonna be very interesting.
Maybe they have I don't want to say a de facto champion, but maybe they have an interim type of championship. Like they rename something, they make money off of it. This is the interim type of whatever. Because you got 2 champions, you got two conferences that are gone from the scene. Like I don't know if you could crown a national champion.
They can, they will. They're gonna have the tournament again. Hey, you decide to sit out. All right.
I know it's
That's
happening.
what we're gonna do. Hey, college football don't give a damn about these athletes. They don't give a damn. So they're gonna have an athlete. And November 14th, Jason, you asked about Boston College, Notre Dame Boston College.
Okay. November
14th in at Chestnut Hill in Boston. Wicked Pista. So that's what they're playing.
What are you have the schedule in front of you, Shawn? What are the rivalries? Because I know they're not going to USC.
No,
I know they're not traveling.
So here's their schedule is 1, 2, 3. So this one, so the game against Navy was canceled.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So then September 13th is against Duke. 12th, excuse me, September 12th. Then the 19th, they're scheduled to play South Florida. September 26th, they're playing Wake Forest. October 10th, Florida State. October 17th, Louisville. I'm not sure if Louisville's, if they're in are they American Conference, if they're still playing. No, the American Conference was playing.
Yeah, they're Conference USA. Are they Conference?
I want to say I'm not sure.
The who? I'm sorry.
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville, the Ville.
Oh, Louisville. Yeah, Louisville's in the. I think they're in the ACC.
Oh, I can't
remember.
Here,
I'm going to look it up right now because it's going to.
Then they're at Pitt. Then they're at Georgia Tech. Then they're versus Clemson at home, November 7th. November 14th, Boston College, and then November 27th. I guess they had a bye week, the 21st, at North Carolina. So, that was
Oh yeah, they're in the ACC.
They are okay. All
yes.
Right. Well, we're gonna have some interesting, games with Notre Dame. I think their biggest game obviously will be the one against Clemson. If we get to that point in the season and there's still a season going, that definitely is gonna be their biggest year, if you ask me. But yeah, it's definitely not gonna be the same with them not playing Navy, with them not playing Michigan. Those are two of their big rivalry games. The rivalries.
And SC, the Notre Dame SC games are always great. Notre Dame SC is always great.
Yep. I mean, Florida State, Miami is still playing, so that'll be my big rivalry game that I'll get to kind of watch my team. But it's just going to be a very interesting kind of championship here. But I remember when before you had the playoffs and the bowl season, we had the AP writers who basically crowned the champion, which every year was that was political.
You also had ties. Remember, you had shares of the title and stuff. It's like, what? That team didn't even play this week.
So, it's going to be interesting. I think college football is going to the dynamics are going to be more interesting than any other sport because there really isn't so much structure. Whereas with the NHL, they're doing the Stanley Cup playoffs. NBA, there's going to be NBA finals. Everything else is pretty much structured the way it normally would go, but college football is just going to be completely kind of loony.
That's why, dude, they're going to have the tournament just without the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Big 12, they got 3 to 5. They're like, hey, but again, thought is this.
Now, do you invite?
You got no. So you got the 3 games in the Big 12 that have been postponed. You got 3 games in the Big 12 that have been postponed already. So that's going to be the only thing that could really unrail this whole playoff system. Because what if someone gets it later? You talked about the kids at Notre Dame. There's kids over down at Jackson State. I know they're not in FBS, but what's to stop another outbreak from kids? Down one of the guys that I used to work with, his daughter goes to Alabama. So what if what I mean? So what's to stop a party and people getting it there? And these because we had this conversation on Wednesday, and Ivan was like, "You mean to tell me that the coaches can't control those kids?" I'm like, "I'm trying to tell you, college kids, it's a whole different animal." And I know you say, "Well, they have scholarships." Like, dude, you don't understand. When you're a young kid and you're away from home, and there's the opposite sex around, and I'm telling you, you will do whatever. You will sneak girls in. You will. It's like
I've done these things. like I'm not saying that. I'm not.
But now you're not home.
But what I'm saying,
you're not home, and and you will find every service entrance, every window that's big enough. Okay, all you size 2 to 6 women, you come in through. You can slide in through this window. All the bigger girls, you got to come in this other window. And the bigger girls, you got to come in the service entrance. Like we'll find a way. Okay, we will, and it doesn't matter. Like I'm telling you, when you're a kid, they will sneak in somehow, some way. Oh, I'm here with the catering department, dude. I'm telling you.
The catering department.
I'm about to bring that good stuff.
I was just saying because it blows my mind that like you can't get like an Alabama. You're coached by a Nick Saban. A Nick Saban can't get like that's crazy. I mean, I believe it. I could believe that the BS happens, the craziness happens. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, man, you can't just for 16 weeks. You need a national championship. 2 conferences pretty much folded, and you have a better shot at winning a national title. But I guess that's.
I'm telling you, dude. There were stories, and things are a lot more calm now. But back in the day at Miami, with the shirt, your jersey you're wearing.
Yeah.
Now, I remember reading an article in SI where Michael Irvin came out of a dorm with one girl. Okay, I'm not going to speculate what he was doing. Just say he came out of a dorm with one girl. Another girl that he was dating or messing with approached them. So apparently he's messing with both girls. The girl who approached them started stealing or had a physical altercation with the girl that he was leaving the dorm with. So the girl that approached him beat the living snot out of the girl he just came out of the dorm with. So then he leaves the girl who got her ass whipped. He leaves her there, and he goes off with the girl who came and whooped the other girl. I was like, you have to be kidding. But I'm like, that was the you back in the day. Yeah. That was the you.
That's still every college in this country, man. And you know what? I think the schools that you got to be the most concerned about are actually not the schools in the large metropolitan areas, but like at Miami, but the schools in the little small, just towns where they really don't have anything else to them.
Right.
Oh my God, they doing all sorts of stuff.
Well, here's why. Like when that's your only thing. Like even at Holy Cross, like there were 10 colleges in Worcester, but Holy Cross was the biggest thing in Worcester. So you had locals. We had other people from other, there's 10 other colleges. There's 10 colleges. There's 9 other colleges who came and to hang out with us. Then there were the locals who came to hang out with us. And then there were people, who went to Providence, which is only 45 minutes away, because they didn't have a football team. And so they came down and, because their girlfriend, their high school best friend went to Holy Cross. So you'd have just a wide variety of people coming in. It was insane, dude. It was insane. That's all I got to say. Hey, listen, guys, 3 hours has come and gone. Unbelievable. I want to thank my guest, Joseph Phillips, for calling in this morning, the top of the morning segment. I want to appreciate him. I want to thank my guy, Jason Palmer, for sitting in the last hour. And I want to thank, I'd be remiss without saying thank you to our man behind the curtain, the Wiz, the Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. I also want to thank our technical director, Elliot Baez, and I have to thank our social media guru himself, Clarence Council, for posting all those God blessed articles. Man, he is a posting freak, man. Keeps us up to date keeping us up with the Joneses and getting all the stuff out there and sending me alerts on my phone from the app. So I love it. And thank you guys, and of course, to my lovely co-host of Ascension, Maya Kai. So, guys, we're going to take a little break, a 69-hour break. Okay, we'll do that. We're going to come back with some great Bears conversation on Monday. So for my lovely co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, and for Jason Palmer, and for my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. Now, when you guys said you guys dressed up as twins, all I could think of in my head was this. all I could, the song played in my head. I was just like, I was puffing my fake fro. I was walking down the stoop too. I was like, it was just hilarious to me. I don't even know what to say after that. You're an idiot. You're a freaking idiot. Oh, guys, download the app, SportsZone Chicago. Check out Ivan's new show on Monday at 10:30. Sunday at 10:30. We out. You're an idiot.